All the crying's over. No more debating. No more bitching and whining. No more hypothesis. It's game week. And it's a short game week. And you're on the road at a neutral site, which really sucks. Talking Eagles, obviously, and Packers on Friday. NFL kicks off on Thursday with the Baltimore Ravens visiting Kansas City. College football over the weekend was absolutely insane. Ratings through the roof. I mean, look, this is going to be a monster season. And we're proud to have our friends at BetUS powering the 4 hours of the Big Sil Show, National Football Show here on JAKIB. And we so appreciate you guys coming here and making this show one of the biggest shows and viewed shows when it comes to sports and it comes to talking football. We so appreciate it. Mike Kane, wait a minute. Let me do it better. How about them Hurricanes? Hey, Howie, take a knee, kid. Take a knee. Holy shit. The Florida Rosemans got annihilated by my Canes. Annihilated. 41-17. Way to go, guys. Very proud of my boys. Going in there and whooping that Gator ass. There is nothing better than going in and chomping on some Gator ass. And then on top of that, what topped off my weekend, my Labor Day weekend? The Florida State Seminoles are now 0-2 versus roadkill teams. You lose to Georgia Tech, and then you lose to BC. Good night. Hey, this just in, right, Xander? You are officially eliminated from the 12-team playoff, and you're known as FSU. How you doing? That thing's over, man. Sills, how about them Canes? And the quarterback is impressive. Cam Ward, he surely looked impressive. He surely did. One thing I'll say to you, James Jones, FSU fans are horrible, but they're women. How you doing? You know what I'm saying? We're good. Dude, I think the Hurricanes are going to be right there at the end. How about this? They're going to be one of the 12 best teams at the end of the year that are going to get into that playoff. God, there's so much to talk about. Absolutely a ton to talk about. My last installments of the Big Sills Eagle Bold predictions will be today. I won't sleep until that FSU fan fulfills his bet. He's talking about a guy, 304, holding people accountable. He's a Cowboy fan, so he understands this. He says if they lose to BC on Monday night, he would eat dog shit. Well, that guy deleted his Twitter account or X account, and now he's in seclusion, and he's now in witness protection, and people are looking for him, and they want him to fulfill his bet that he would eat dog shit. So, hey, I want to see it. Okay? I want to see it. Fantastic stuff. By the way, I posted a video of Darius Slay not wanting to go to Brazil. He's like, I have no intentions of wanting to play here, but hey, we got to do it. I'm looking forward to the opener. It's all good in this. I hope that doesn't get in his head. Okay? Because you can be beat before you even get on the airplane. We're going to talk a little bit about what Nick Sirianni, I guess Nick spoke twice over the last 72 hours, so we'll talk about what he said. Then we'll also talk more about what the coordinators, Kellen Moore, and also what Vic Fangio had to say. And Jalen Hurts spoke. Jalen Hurts spoke. So we appreciate all coming aboard. Thank you guys so much. I can't thank you enough, as I always say to you guys, have so many other options. Please hit the like button when you come aboard. Angelo Cataldi will be with us at 3:30 Eastern time. We'll talk to the WIP legend. We're hopefully going to catch up with our friend Gary Cobb from Fox 29. Also, Xander Krause will step in with us as he always does. Those guys are doing a spectacular job on Birds 365. We appreciate you guys coming aboard here. That Gator team is undisciplined, Sills. Hey, is it me or does Billy Napier look like Aaron Hernandez? Holy shit. I was watching the guy on the sidelines. I'm like, I thought Aaron Hernandez hung himself. There he was on the sidelines. Billy Hernandez. I'm like, and everyone's ripping on me, going, come on, Sills. I mean, I know we're winning and all, but I'm like, it looks like Aaron Hernandez. I thought he was Aaron Hernandez on the sidelines. Then today at a press conference, he's dogging Gator fans. That ain't gonna last. Believe me, they fired better coaches than you, Junior. Ron Zook, Galen Hall, Charlie Pell, guys who actually won SEC championships. They've fired. You suck. How in the world is that guy going to keep? Hey, you see his payout, his agent is spectacular. Enough of that. Please hit the like button. Guys, we're going to try to get today to around 300 likes. We so appreciate it. Hey, Bob, I saw you on my Twitter over the weekend. Thank you so much. Hey, Big Sills really stirred up some shit with the Eagles and the PR staff. We'll get to that story, too. By the way, looks like Bob Lang's got quite a little job to fix a little bit with the PR department. Now I know why they want to play for a communist country and a communist leader. Well, I mean, you got those ads are theirs. They're theirs. There's a woman that's now in Philadelphia that's exposing it all. That there's a dude that works with the public relations department, and she's saying that the Harris campaign knew exactly what they were doing, and that was the Harris campaign that put it out there. The Eagles could deny, but always remember something about the Eagles. They lie to you. They don't tell you the truth. You think Bob Lang, the PR czar of the Eagles, is going to tell you the truth? What are you, crazy? You got to know who you're dealing with. That guy masters in lies. He masters in lies. And by the way, it's not so much that you're pissed off here that the Eagles are supporting Kamala Harris. You're pissed off that you're a company that's trying to sell merchandise, tickets, all kinds of merchandise and food and goodwill. You service everybody. You don't do what the NBA does and service half its audience. Okay, you're a company that's there to serve the public. And by the way, I would imagine that some Republicans who voted for that stadium, Lincoln Financial, are a little bit pissed off that they voted for you to have Lincoln Financial, and you're fucking them by picking a side. I guess that wasn't part of when you got the stadium, right? That you would be a Democrat and vote only Democrat. I'd like to have you have said that when you guys were trying to get that stadium built. And you went to taxpayers. That's the problem you have. Okay? That wasn't part of the deal, huh, Jeffrey Lurie? When you asked citizens of Philadelphia, if you could build me a stadium, you asked Republicans and Democrats to build you a stadium. Now you support one side? That's how you lose. That's how you build animosity. You don't need that. Eagles are so great of a community and civic pride team. Enough of that, man. It's game week, and I don't really want to hang my hat on that bullshit. But that couldn't have been that has to have been one of Bob Lang and that PR department's biggest fucking disasters since I've started covering your team. What's the point? What's the point of being behind this? You can deny it all you want. There's receipts now that are going across the internet all over the place that show that you did know. I mean, again, I don't care who you vote for. You know, somebody asked me on my Twitter page, hey, Sills, I'm black. Should I vote for Trump? That's not my job. I would never tell you who to vote for. And the guy goes, respect. And I said, yeah, I'm not here to tell you who to vote for. That's not my job. Okay? This show's job is not to tell you who to vote for. We cover sports, and we have an opinion. You guys probably know which way I lean, but I'll never tell you who to vote for. I'll tell you never to take a vaccination shot. That's not my job. Everybody has an individual obligation to their family and to themselves. I have nothing to do with that with you. And nor does this show or this network or truly anyone else have the right to tell you who to vote for. You have to make that decision up in November. That's a you thing, man. That's not anything to do with me. I would never tell anybody or try to influence using the Philadelphia Eagle logo who to vote for. Absolutely ridiculous. Okay? Absolutely ridiculous. All right, guys. Let's enough with that. Let's move on to game week here. How you feeling about your Eagles going into this game against the Packers? How you feel about it? By the way, before I get going, what do you make of Devonta Smith not getting enough votes to be a team captain this year? What do you make of that? What do you make of Devonta Smith not getting enough team votes for his ability to be a team captain? Flex, got it. 2024. There you go. Bo says very strange. Where is it? Very strange. What do you make of that? AJ would cry. Probably so. I think the whole captain thing is way too over. Smitty should be a captain. Hey, Flexen, let me ask you this. We have to stop JAKIBs. That will prevent play action. Okay? Let me finish up with this Devonta thing. I think people in Philadelphia, the fans, and maybe even his own teammates, take him for granted. He's so quiet, so good, so productive, so professional. He doesn't kick his feathers up. He doesn't do anything like that. I think people take him for granted. Is that a fair comment about Devonta Smith? I think we're taking him for granted how great he is. I think his teammates took for granted that, it won't bug him. It probably doesn't. Probably doesn't bug him. But when I heard someone say he didn't get enough votes, it was Nick who said he didn't get enough votes to be a team captain. My first thought was not that it was an indictment on Devonta. It was that his teammates take him for granted on how cool he is, how much of a teammate he is, how much he just wants to win, that stuff doesn't matter to him. That, guess what? You're overlooking him and his importance. When you got a player like that, Devonta Smith, you should celebrate him a little more. And again, I don't. It's not an indictment that he's not a captain, but when you hear the head coach say he didn't get enough votes, I was like, his teammates are taking him for granted on how great of a teammate he is, let alone the fact he's a great player. Okay? And Abe says this. You're probably right, Abe. You're probably right. He doesn't care. You're probably right. But I'll tell you what, I care. Because that's overlooking someone that's truly an impact player on your team. It's more of an indictment on today's player. Oh, well, he don't really care, so why vote for him? Shit, that's the guy you vote for. Remember in Gladiator when they were going like this? Hey, I'm going to turn all my powers over to you. Maximus looks over at Caesar and goes like this. No, that's okay. And then Caesar goes, this is why it has to be you. This is why, with all due respect, Caesar, no. This is why it has to be you, Maximus. That's why you have a leader like that. Okay? It does. Thought it was just a little odd to see that. All right. So let's go to the coaches. And let's start out with Kellen Moore. And we'll do Kellen Moore first, and then we'll do Vic Fangio, and then we'll do Nick Sirianni. Please hit the like button, guys. We appreciate you guys coming aboard. Thank you so much. Again, Angelo Cataldi will be with us at 3:30. We will have Gary Cobb. We're efforting him from Fox 29, and also our good friend Xander from Birds 365, who are doing just an absolutely sensational job. By the way, I really appreciate you guys with the super chats. Fangio said they didn't see play action in camp. Could that be a tell into the offensive scheme a little bit. Absolutely. Smitty, Diva Brown. AJ wouldn't like it. I can't. I have to be captain. You know what Devonta probably said? It's okay, honey. You can be. It's okay. So let's get into Kellen Moore. And we'll talk Kellen here. I think Kellen Moore is a really intellectual type offensive coordinator. I do. I think he's going to bring a lot to Jalen Hurts' football IQ, and I think he already has. He said this, he goes, there's no question that Green Bay's got a brand new coordinator, so it's going to be first week unknowns because we're not going to know, and you have to really do a deep dive when you don't have really a lot of tape on what they're going to try to accomplish in Green Bay. So you may see some different looks, different blitzes. You may see some different exotic schemes. That's pretty much what Kellen was saying, that, hey, they're going to see things that they've never seen before, because they got to admit the Eagles have been pretty vanilla this camp and during the exhibition games. They really haven't shown anything, and they've done a pretty nice job masking it and protecting it. Been pretty vanilla pretty much the entire time. That's why people are looking at camp. But remember something when you're in camp. I love how these coaches and players are dealing with it. Even Jaylen Hurts said it. That's camp. That's got nothing to do with football, really. And all of you guys are so hyped up on 14 wins, 13 wins, and you even hear the players going, that ain't football. That's camp. And that's exactly what the coordinators and the coaches are saying. So Kellen brought up a point that he thinks Will Shipley's going to be a factor. He doesn't know how, but it's about defining roles each and every single week. He said the ability for us to have so many different types of weapons on offense, it's going to be a week-to-week proposition. Some guys are that's excellent, because that becomes a chameleon, and that's hard to defend. You don't know. And by the way, you look at the personnel you play, and you'll say this, Shipley's going to get touches this week. Following next 2 weeks, Shipley may get no touches. But he's ready in the chamber. And when you're a coordinator, you have to defend that. It's good. He says there's really no competitive edge when you're talking about week one. You know, him knowing me knowing them. There's no competitive edge because there's going to be a lot of new looks that the Packers haven't seen and that we haven't seen with Green Bay. So the competitive edge in week one, you really don't have any kind of sample size. You have to do a deep dive, as Nick said, to figuring out what a game plan is going to look like against a particular coordinator, no matter if it's Kellen or no matter if it's the coordinator in Green Bay. You see, like I told you before, the one thing that you have to remember, this is how you game plan teams. Teams will take the last 3 weeks of the season and they'll put tendencies together. There's no tendency chart going into this Green Bay game. You have an idea maybe on what some of the tendencies will be, but you really don't have actual game tendencies because the Eagles haven't been on the field. Green Bay has now. You've seen some of the stuff that Green Bay does, and they've had love out there in the exhibition games. So you got a kind of a sense in the mentality of what they're going to do. Okay? You've got to. You got to understand, like, there's no like real understanding tendencies until probably you get after or into the bye. Yo, Chad, got to show that Philly get them all week on the Sills. It's game week. Let's see how good the D-line is, Sills. D-line's got to be essential in this football game against the Packers. They've got to be outstanding, okay? Guys, please hit the like button. We appreciate it. He said that Hurts' growth has been great. He and him have been constantly communicating, and they have constantly been talking about protections. They've been talking about ideology. They've been talking about situational play calling, which is imperative that those two guys get on the same page. You know, the more you're with Kellen Moore, the more you and Jalen Hurts are together, the more you start thinking together, the more you start thinking alike. That's what Kellen has to get. What does Jalen think of this play, 3rd and 8, on my own 20-yard line? What versus 2 deep safeties? What's the best call using his skill set? Do you think he'll like this play? That's what Andy Reid and that's what Patrick Mahomes have that really very few other coaches in the NFL have. It's because you've had that consistently of being able to call plays for that quarterback on a consistent basis that becomes second nature. It just becomes second nature. Every guy in the football team is going to have a role, Kellen Moore says. Said every single guy. We're talking Kellen Moore and what he addressed a few days ago here. Said that every guy will have a role. That's great. You know why? That means you're engaged. If every single person has a role on that team, that means you're prepared and ready to go in case of a catastrophic injury. And a catastrophic injury is going to happen. Be prepared for that. Something catastrophic is going to hit the Eagles like every other team. What happened in 22 was a novelty. Catastrophic injuries are part of the league. The war of attrition becomes so essential. Your depth becomes so essential. You know why the Eagle depth is not where it was in 22? Why? Well, because you started paying people. Well, who do you think pays the piper? The backups, quality backups. You don't have them. You weren't paying the quarterback back then. Now you are. And that's why the depth is a little bit lighter. Actually, the depth has become lighter the last 2 years. Okay? He said Barkley is not on a snap count. I think that's not the truth. I think Saquon Barkley should be on a snap count. Running him to death in a game on Friday in Brazil is not something I'm looking forward to do. I need to pace that guy. This is about pacing. Saquon Barkley is no longer a 250 carry back. 250 carries for him will be catastrophic if that's the pace you're trying to put him on. He's not that back anymore. He's been injured the last 4 years. I'm not looking to run that guy into retirement in the first month of the season, let alone the first game of the season. So you've got to be able to figure out how to utilize him effectively, but efficiently. Okay? I mean, you want that guy to be on a run probably week 12 and on. You know, I wouldn't, there's no way that guy's a 250 carry back. Okay? He's not. All right. He was asked an interesting question, and we're going to get to Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni's comments, which I thought were telling. If Kelsey would have been here still, would the things still have remained the same? And Kellen Moore skirted around that issue. Skirted around it. And by the way I heard Kellen talking, Cam Jurgens still has some say in pass protection. And he still has an influence in it. Because he said it's collective. Yeah, he said it's collective. Yeah, he said, hey, this is all going to be a collective understanding of what we're going to do. He said that all quarterbacks want to have as much autonomy as they possibly can. But this is still going to be a situation where you're going to be in a position here where this is still going to be a collective understanding of what we're going to do. And I was like, wow, okay, so Cam Jurgens still has some say in what the pass protection is. Interesting. I thought this was completely in the side of Jalen. I'm not saying that Jalen doesn't have complete control of this, but I think it's kind of interesting to hear that Cam Jurgens is still going to have a say. It's almost like they still don't 100% completely trust Jalen Hurts in this process. It's interesting that they seemingly still don't have a complete trust level in Jalen Hurts. I thought Kellen did a nice job at the mic. Really didn't tell you too much. Kind of held back some of the things that they were going to do, but talked about Jalen and taking over the offense a little more. Pass protection, obviously still going to be something that they're going to be tested. There's no question, in my opinion, that the Green Bay Packers are going to blitz the hell out of the Eagles in the first quarter. And they're going to see if they can run the football. And they're going to see if they can establish the run right away. This is going to be interesting. Remember something here. Your middle of your offensive line is brand new pretty much, especially on the right side. Right guard, center are brand new. Cam Jurgens is not playing right guard. He's playing center now. So this is brand new. And you got a brand new play caller. So could there be communication issues? Could there be people not on the same page? Mekhi Becton has never played in an NFL football game guard. He's being asked to do that. Okay? Hey, it's one thing to practice it. It's another thing to get into a football game. All right. Let's get to Vic Fangio. I think Vic is so interesting to listen to. I really do. I love listening to him. He said that the Green Bay Packers are going to be a very difficult cover. Pretty much the same personnel, same coaching staff, not a lot of turnover. So they're going to have a lot of things that they've worked on that are new, that are going to be added to the arsenal of what that football team does. Now, the coordinator's new on that side, but offensively, it's pretty much the same personnel back outside of Josh Jacobs. Okay? So Jacobs is now an add to the Green Bay Packers. And he said this about him. He goes, let me tell you something, man. That quarterback spreads you out. He does a great job. They do a great job at being able to run the football. And now that they got Jacobs here, that's a good football team that throws the ball around, and they know where they're throwing the football. It's a good coaching staff, outstanding on how to get guys open, and that's going to be an all-day 60-minute effort. And I completely agree with him. It's going to be a full game, baby. You have no advantage on defense against the Packer offense. None. Zero. You have no advantage. No advantage until you prove it. And let's move on to the coach's comments. They give you a balanced attack. Quarterback's outstanding. And the defense is going to be challenged at every single play. Every play we will be challenged with Jordan Love and what Matt LaFleur does as a play caller. He was asked a question about the linebackers. I thought it was interesting. He was asked, hey, Vic, are you set in your linebackers? He said, no. It's still evolving. So you really don't have, going into a Green Bay Packer game, a full trust in your linebacking core going against one of the better passing teams in the league that have to cover running backs and tight ends and receivers coming across the middle, coming out of the slot, and coming out of the backfield. You still are in a revolving door linebacking group. So your linebackers don't have an identity yet. You're not set on anybody. That's crazy. Vic said it. He goes, it's going to be challenging. Linebacking core is not settled, were his words. Jesus Christ. You're days out from the Packer game and you're not settled in a group? You don't believe that's an issue, huh? That he's not settled. Now, by the way, this isn't my word. This is the Green Bay Packer game that Vic's talking to you about, and he's saying the linebacking core is not settled, and you're 4 days out. Okay? That's what he's saying to you. That's pretty crazy, actually. He was asked about Jordan Davis. He said he believes Booker can spell him. Get this, he was asked about the conditioning. He goes, we'll find out. He goes, that's just practice. I don't know. We'll find out if these guys are in shape or not. He goes, they seem to be. But until you get out there and playing in a game, that's stuff's practice. This is the game. We'll find out. He's not even sure if they're in shape because they haven't done enough work in camp. How could you not be sure? You know why? I think that's a shot at the Eagles for not playing these guys more during the exhibition season. Vic wanted more practices from what I heard. He wanted more organized team practices. The Eagles said no. And he wanted more. He wanted more playing of the starters. Organization said no. I think that's a shot at those guys because he was asked the question, plain and simple. Do you think they're in shape? He goes, we'll find out. I don't know. The only way you get in shape is what? Play football, not practice. Okay? Not practice, play football. Vic Fangio, in my opinion, took a shot at the coaching staff in the way that they do business by not participating starters more in the exhibition season. Vic looks at that exhibition season like Andy Reid does. And he wasn't happy with the lack of preparation. My opinion. How do you not answer this? Hey, do you think Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter are in shape? Yeah. Well, he couldn't answer it. He's like, I don't know. We'll see. Those were his words. Those were his words. I don't know. We'll find out. Hey, get this. Just like El Jepa, I guess Vic Fangio's a hater. Because those are Vic's words, not mine. Okay? Not mine. I guess Vic Fangio is the biggest hater going. Because surely Vic's not sold that they're in shape. Okay. How about this one? Tell me if you're not troubled by this. He was asked the question about Bryce Huff. And once again, here we are on September 3rd. I wouldn't be surprised if they start 0-2. Nor would I. Hey, here's again, September 3rd, a $51 million investment. And the defensive coordinator was asked this. Hey, what do you make of Bryce Huff where he is right now? This is his comments. Well, not where he needs to be right now, but he's working on it and he's getting there. And we'll see. He's continuing to. And he's working hard at it. I'm like, what the hell is this? That's how you talk about a rookie. Not a 60-year guy. You don't talk about a $51 million investment in a 60-year player. Like this is like his 6 minutes in the game. This is absurd. You're sitting there telling me a guy you made a $51 million investment in, and he's not a 3-down lineman. And hey, he's getting there. Jesus. Vic Fangio's a hardcore coach, man. He is a hardcore coach. That dude, man, make no mistake about it. You ask him a question, be prepared. If you don't like the answer, be prepared to ask the question because that question might not be something you want to hear. Okay? Might be not what you want to hear. Okay? Anaya. What's Anaya say here? Where are you here, bro? There we go. If I really sit and think about it, the Eagles might be lucky to win 6 games. I don't know. We got to see how they play. Put them out there. Put them out there. Still, it just seems very basic to know that. The season didn't start the season didn't start, the starter didn't play the preseason, and that's it. Yeah, you're being thrown into this thing on Friday. Okay? Here's some more lovely tidbits. Well, we see how he was asked the question once again on the conditioning of Carter and Davis. He goes, we'll see. We shall see if they're ready. I love this. This is reality talk. This is how a coach speaks to you. He don't talk to you like a fucking fan. This is how a coach talks. Okay? This is how a coach talks. I'll tell you one thing that I got to say that is really came out in that press conference about Vic Fangio, and this goes into what Xander said. He really likes Quinyon Mitchell. Now, Quinyon Mitchell may not be starting at corner, but he's going to be on the field a ton. He may get more reps this year if he's healthy than any other player in the secondary. Okay? I think their goal is to have Quinyon Mitchell not beat out Isaiah Rodgers. I'm starting to believe that they want Quinyon Mitchell to beat out Darius Slay because he's the first replacement for next year. It's not Isaiah Rodgers. That's not the guy they want to replace. They want to replace Slay because of money and age. I don't believe that they are in any hurry to put him at cornerback 2. I think they're going to put him at cornerback 1 and Slay's the guy out. Then you get rid of both Bradbury and Slay in this coming offseason here, and you dump a shitload of money. Okay? I think they're comfortable going into that game with him in the slot and Isaiah playing and getting Isaiah as many reps as possible. And then get this. The guy I think they're eyeballing is Slay. How does he do against Christian Watson, and how does he do against this Packer offense? I could actually see Quinyon Mitchell getting reps on Slay's side, more so than on Isaiah Rodgers' side, this coming game on Friday. Now, that's an opinion. But why would you try to replace Isaiah Rodgers with Quinyon? You want to be as young as possible in the corner positions, right? I don't want to replace Isaiah Rodgers. The guy who will replace Isaiah Rodgers is either going to be Cooper DeJean or Keely Ringo. That's who I want to replace that guy with. Mitchell's there to replace Slay. Okay? He's not there. You don't want to replace a younger player. You want to replace, look at this guy. This guy thinks that this is a stupid opinion because he's a 35-year-old corner that makes $11.5 million. Think about that. He would rather replace a 23-year-old kid versus a 35-year-old corner who makes $12 million. How stupid is that guy's take? I mean, does that guy ever watch football in his life? Or does he know anything about the National Football League? Age matters, but experience matters more. We want our young players to have the capability to play like a vet. The only way you do that is with reps. Only way you do that is with reps. Nick says this. I appreciate you being here, Nick. Thank you. I hate Slay still being on the roster. Too much money for what he provides on the field. Last year, Meltdown showed all those vets should have been replaced. Slay and BG should have been out this season. Let me finish here on what we're saying here now. Exactly, Sills. Reps. Absolutely. Yeah, here's this dumbass again here. Yeah, tell that to the Packers, fuckbag. Tell that to the Packers. And how they played their young players. And now their defense is one of the top 5 defenses in the AFC. Nice move. Hey, that's okay, kid. Sit back and just listen to the rest of the program. Might help you out a little bit. Okay? Might help you out a little. I don't think Slay's cooked. I don't. I don't think Slay's cooked, but they don't want him. They don't want him being beat out and beating out Isaiah Rodgers. They want him beating out Slay. Okay? I haven't even, the program is depressing. How is it depressing when I'm saying what the coordinator? So what? Get this. Philly 4x4 is depressed by how Vic Fangio talks. He could never be coached by a guy like Vic Fangio. This guy right here, Philly 4x4. You know why? He's soft. That's a soft mentality. Players aren't depressed by the way the coach talks to them. Because you know why? They got clarity and they know where they stand with them. Okay? Who's whining? Who's whining 4x4? These are Vic Fangio's words. This guy is pissed off and says that Vic Fangio's whining. This is your coordinator talking, not me. I haven't even made a fucking opinion yet. And you're crying like a bitch. You got to be kidding me. These are what the coordinator's words are, not me. Why are you upset by one of your coaches talking this way? How are you upset with that, dude? Are you really that soft? Holy cow. You got to be kidding me. Dude, you know what? I'll tell you this. From now on, we're not going to give people wrenches any longer. We're going to give certain people snowflakes. Can we do that, Xander? Until you show me you're not a snowflake, I'm going to start dubbing people with snowflakes. There's going to be people with wrenches and people with snowflakes who you may end up getting a snowflake. So it may be on you. Okay? You may get a Philly 4x4 is on the verge of getting a snowflake. How you doing, kid? Toughen up, guy. Got a big game Friday. Act like you're going to win it. Act like you're going to win it. Okay? You get this here. Twiz. Hey, Twiz, you want to see a snowflake? All you got to do is look at some of those promo ads that are going around the city of Philly. I'll show you a snowflake. Let's finish up with Vic Fangio's harsh words. Hey, a guy like Philly 4x4 thinks that you're going to beat the Packers with harsh words on Friday. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Are you going to beat him with harsh words? Is that what you're going to do? Holy cow. Here we go. He said this, got a ton of new faces on defense for us. Coaches, secondary coaches, what have you. A lot of new faces. Lot of new faces. Okay? A lot of new faces. So communication is going to be important on Friday. Get this. Hey, you know what's crazy? I'm looking at what the comments were made by the Philadelphia Eagle coaches, and you're mad at them. Why? Why are you mad at them? Because they're talking like coaches do. Hey, that's practice. Jalen's had a really nice camp, but that's practice. I mean, honestly, hey, there are so many snowflakes in here today. I feel like I have to talk a little bit better to you because you'll start crying. My God, are you really going to cry like that? Hey, Philly 4x4, don't worry about it, honey. You know, just maybe sit back and relax a little bit because I'm sure your diapers are in a bind right now. So relax a little bit, honey. It's okay. Just, relax. And get this. Hey, notice this. You see all the people that are taking shots at me right now? Why are you taking shots at me? What's your problem? What's your problem with what I'm saying, what your coaches said? What don't you like what I'm saying? Echoing the truth of what they're saying? Hey, Daniel, thank you, brother. Really cool, brother. Thank you. Appreciate it. Tell me what you don't like about what your coaches are saying. Do you want me to stop so you feel better about yourself? Is that what you? Hey, by the way, it's game week. I'm in a fabulous mood. My Canes destroyed the shitbag Gators. So I'm in a wonderful place. Wonderful. I voted him 7th even. I overrated him. Absolutely. I'm in a great place. Love it. Great mood. Okay? Love it. Get all bad at Big Bad Whales? Get mad at Big Bad Whales. BG's not on a pitch count, too. Okay? Hey. Hey, James. James, where are you, man? Shit, James. That's the 60s, man. Okay? Get this. Here's what Vic said, too. He hopes that Huff will improve. Get this. So it's only been a month and a half. And Huff keeps getting this line from the coordinator. I hope he improves. He's continuing to improve. We just have to wait and see. This guy's not sold he's a 3-down player yet. Get this. He said this 3 times now. He has said this 3 times now. The 3 times that he got in front of the mic, he has said this 3 times about Bryce Huff. Okay? I mean, this doesn't get any fucking better here, man. He's not a 3-down guy. And he was asked a question about Quinyon Mitchell being on the field. He goes, yeah, he really likes this player. He really likes this player. That's good to hear. That's a massive compliment. When they asked him, Xander, you're right. When they asked him the question about Quinyon Mitchell, he goes, he's had a good camp. Every time we put him in a situation, he's excelled. We put him in nickel, he excelled. We put him in the slot, he excelled. We put him at corner, he excelled. Dude, that's really great to hear a coach like that talking about a football player doing things like that. Daniel, Xander, look at that, Daniel. Thank you so much, Daniel. That means the world to us, man. We can't thank you enough. Thank you, sir. Get the 10 JAKIB Sports memberships. Thank you so much, man. We appreciate that. Thank you very much. You helped to grow the program, and we so appreciate it. Please hit the like list. By the way, guys, do me a favor. Sounds like Sills is flip-flopping on Quinyon Mitchell. This guy's a dumbass. I told you what he said. I didn't say it. Why in the world would that guy lie just now, like Senor, and say that sounds like Sills is flip-flopping? That's not fucking what I did. I told you what the coordinator said. Senor, try listening. It might help you. I never said my opinion on Quinyon. You already know my opinion. I'm talking about what your boy said about him the other day. I never said that. Dude, you have no brain cells when you do that. I mean, you can't listen, man. I never gave you my opinion on it. That's Vic Fangio talking about the kid having a good camp, and every situation we've put him in, he's been great in. The fuck is wrong with you? Okay, Sil said Quinyon won't start until week 8. Not at corner. He ain't starting now at corner. You were drafting him to be a corner. Teron Arnold is starting week 1. Okay? He's not starting at his natural position. You can't beat Isaiah Rodgers out? Okay. Well, obviously, he's not good enough. I mean, come on, man. Try listening, kid. Over here. I know you get distracted. You know, like a gnat and shit. It's okay. Got him in a good mood. It's game week. It's game week. How about old Vic, man? Telling you like it is. You come in here, man, you know what it is? Telling you how it ain't. Thank you, Kimberly. Means a lot. Appreciate it. Hey, you come in here and you listen to some of these people, they'll tell you how it ain't. Oh, I saved the greatness for the last two for Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts. Oh, yeah. Here we go, baby. The greatest food salad talker, let me see, since Julia Childs. I dated myself. She was like a cook. She was like a chef. This guy's like Emerald. You want to know how to make a food salad? You can listen to Nick Sirianni do a presser, and that's the best food salad. Hey, the one today, I don't know what the fuck he was talking about. I had no idea. Hey, what do you watch when you're on an airplane flight for 9 hours? What do you do? I mean, like, you know, do you have any suggestions? What do you think? I don't know. Porn? I mean, I don't know. Is it hard for you to find Eagles fake Eagles outrage? Is it hard for you to find fake Eagles outrage? I'm not outraged right now. What are you talking about? I'm talking about, no, you mean what was the take that I'm outraged about besides your pathetic PR department? What are you talking about? What am I outraged about? Vic Fangio saying your $51 million guy is not a 3-down guy? That he loves Quinyon Mitchell? That he doesn't know if your guys are in shape or not? I didn't say this stuff. I have no outrage. How can I be outraged by a guy that says it? Boy, oh boy. Why is he talking bad? I'm not talking bad. Vic is. Vic is talking bad. Hey, M. Reyes goes, that's fake news that Vic Fangio was asked a question about Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis if they're in shape, and he said, we'll find out. He thinks that's fake news. He thinks I'm lying on that. Go listen to it. If you want, I'll play it again, and I'll play it. He also thought that the Jalen Hurts comment was fake. It wasn't fake. It wasn't fake. You just don't like hearing truth. Oh, my God. Oh, man. Sills, do you think that Vic took the job? He was fully aware Roseman wasn't going to put any money on the defense. Yeah, but you know what he probably did say? If you're not going to put any money on the defense, at least put draft picks on the defense. And I think that's what the compromise was. I hear you, James. These people cry like bitches, man. I went, hey, I can't believe he's repeating what the coach said. Wow. What a horrific, what an outrageous take to take what Vic Fangio said and to repeat it. I didn't realize how that outraged you. Wow, what an outrageous take. I don't know if Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter are in shape. Outrageous. Outrageous. What a take. All right. Now let's get to Mr. Food Salad here. Should I do the earlier one or should I do the one that was today? He's something else, I'll tell you. Oh, Vic and oh, Nick are two different guys. All right, here's the earlier one. Yeah, here's the earlier one. Okay. This is the one over the weekend. He says, players going to Brazil. He says, hey, you control what you can't control. Epiphany there. He said that, the players have been talking about going to Brazil, and he goes, we've been telling them, you can only control what you can control. Okay. He was asked a question about Bradbury. He goes, yeah, he's hurt. He's going to be out for a little bit. And moved right on from that one. Didn't want to have to expand. Hey, how come these reporters don't expand on some of these questions? Like, what happens when Cooper DeJean's ready and you've got Bradbury on the team making 11? Are you going to whack him or are you going to keep him on the team? Here's the comment here. Devonta Smith didn't get enough votes. He goes, I had to be cognizant to the guys that did get votes. I was like, so wait a minute. One of the top pros on your team and one of the top guys on your team and one of the best draft choices of Howie Roseman is not a team captain? Will we not agree that Devonta Smith's one of Roseman's greatest picks and he's not a team captain and didn't get enough votes? Now, again, I don't think this has anything to do with Devonta. I think it's got to do with his team taking him for granted and how quiet he is. Get this. Him being with his personality, see, people take empathy and having a nice guy like that in your locker room is weakness. That's not a weakness. That's a strength. I think Devontae's one of the stronger guys on that team. Never bitches, acts like a pro all the time, and it's there for his teammates. How do you not make that guy captain? And then you have Sirianni going, well, he didn't get enough votes. He didn't get enough votes? Well, fuck that. Make him a captain. It's your team, Nick. That's the first time you failed all year by not making that guy a captain. Well, we only pick. I don't care. Break the rules. It's your team. It's your team, Nick. Break the rules. It's your team. You're so set in stone on that one? Okay? Of all guys that are accountable in their careers and how they play as an Eagle, is he not the most accountable guy in the locker room? Why wouldn't you do that? This is an indictment on Nick and his stupid answers. Well, I had to be cognizant of the guys who got votes. Fuck that. Break the rules. A guy embodies being a leader. A guy embodies being an Eagle. Come on, man. Hey, Nick, act like a leader. Act like a leader, Nick. Might help you, kid. Might help you. Get this. Vic wanted more practice time. He goes, I have to balance that between coaches because they want more practice time. That's exactly what Vic was talking about. When they asked Vic, so you know what Vic did when he was asked the question about conditioning, about Huff? That's why he answered it the way he did. He answered it the way he did. You know why? Because he wanted more practice time and he wanted more game time when it came to exhibition football. So what did Vic say? He wanted more practice. So instead he shot back and goes, Huff's not a 3-down player. I don't know if those guys are in shape yet. I mean, it's a complete contradiction in how you listen to Nick Sirianni talking and how you listen to the defensive coordinator talking. He wanted more practice time and more game situation. The organization didn't want it. Why? Well, because he was told. Remember something. Nick Sirianni doesn't do anything unless he's told. Imagine that. That coach doesn't do a thing unless he's told. That's not a coach. That's not a coach. That's an administrator. Okay? And those comparisons to John Harbaugh and Mike Tomlin are pathetic. Those guys pick the staffs. Those guys pick the coaches. Those guys pick their captains. Those guys have complete control over their teams. That guy is told what to do. Those coaches aren't told what to do. Those coaches tell people what to do. They actually tell their GMs what to do. Eric DeCosta said it numerous times. And our friend that was in the Steeler front office, Kevin Colbert, who was on this program, says, Mike Tomlin doesn't work for me. I work with Mike Tomlin. I'm doing what Mike needs to have a good football team. They're not the same guys. They're just not. How about this one here? This was pretty interesting. Kellen Moore, he was asked a bold-faced question. I don't know if you heard this one too, Xander, but he was asked the question, how does it feel not to be in the team meeting and have any say kind of so much when it comes to the offensive game plan? You know what he said? It's really cool because then I can kind of like dip in and out, and I can go talk to Howie, or I could go talk to like the janitor, or I could go talk to the car lot guys who park the cars out front, and I can move around, go other places. And I'm not really, it's kind of more of a freedom thing. And you get to move around. And I'm like, how does it feel not being involved in the game plan? Was the question. And he gave you this word salad thing about, I get to pop out and go talk to the janitor, and I get to go talk to like the guy preparing the lunches. I was talking the other day about, I thought the seat cushions that were in the player lounge could be redone a little bit, maybe in an eagle green, Kelly greenish. And I was like, okay. I mean, he was asked a simple question. And how many times did he bring up that Harry High School shit? Hey, when we were at Fork Union Military Institute or whatever the thing was that he had. Oh, yeah, Friday night. Oh, wait, I'll get there. Wait, that's today. Let me hang on here. Here's the most telling one. Yeah, it was pretty accurate that Jason Kelce handled the blocking protections, and Jalen was right when he said that. So basically, Nick Sirianni confirmed that the Eagle management and Jason Kelce stunted or halted his growth on picking up blitz protections. Is that right? Why are you throwing Jason Kelce under a bus? They all out confirmed it. What Hurts said was true. I mean, yeah, he was right when he said that, the organization and Jason Kelce calling pass protections, halted the growth of the quarterback. You admitted it, that you hurt his development as a quarterback. You out now admitted it. I mean, okay. The number one thing when it comes to pass protection, that's how you identify pre-snap reads. You throw into blitzes. And if you don't have that understanding of where pressure's coming from, there's not a chance in hell you can read defenses. Okay? Unbelievable. Now, here's the second one. This was today. This was a real good one. Then we'll get to Jalen. Yeah, this was a real good one. Where's yeah, I want to make sure I get them all here. Here it is. Here's Sirianni today. He says he's really proud of the way that the defensive coaching staff has been rebuilt. He had nothing to do with it. That was all Vic. With Roy and Christian, those were all Vic Fangio hires. And one of them was a Clint Hurt hire. I asked Clint. Okay? Roy was a Clint Hurt hire. Brought him over from Seattle. Guys that were being built in the secondary and putting secondary coaches back there. The reason that they got really good coaches on defense is because of Fangio and Clint Hurt. Clint Hurt was a coordinator for Pete Carroll for the last couple of years. And by the way, look at the coordinators that he's produced. Gus Bradley, Dan Quinn. Those were all Seattle Seahawk defensive coordinators that Carroll had under his umbrella there as coaches. All those guys have gone on to do great things and be an impact in the NFL, and they're all really good coaches. Pete Carroll developed those guys. And Clint Hurt was up there with him, and he thinks highly of him. Hey, JM, you could think whatever you want about Dan Quinn. He got just as far as your boy did. He got to a Super Bowl as a head coach. He, by the way, has a Super Bowl ring, and Vic Fangio doesn't. He was a D coordinator with Gus Bradley in Seattle. Does Vic own a ring? That'd be no. That'd be no. Let's put everything in context. Clint Hurt was not fired as a DC. He was not fired. He was not retained because they had a brand new coaching staff because that new head football coach went in there. Okay? Let's see here. Says he's got a lot of respect for Matt LaFleur. He said the Packer defense is going to create a lot of issues. They have a ton of good football players, and we're going to have a ton of deep diving when it comes to having that scenario. Okay? No question about it. Wait a minute. I saw something there because he thought he was setting me up. Well, here's the difference. Canales is a play caller. An offensive coordinator would be, not Canales, but the guy who got the head coaching job in Seattle is a defensive guy. He's going to bring his own defensive-minded guys in. Just the same way Jim Harbaugh brought his own offensive guys in. How you doing? I knew what you were doing, kid. You ain't that smart. Trust me. Come on, Snowflake. Nick says that Barkley's very special. Very special football player. Okay. Oh, come on, man. Oh. That's pretty rough there, man. That's pretty rough. What are you saying here, Sam? I guarantee Hurts went to Roseman and said, get rid of Sirianni. And Roseman said no, because he wants an ass kisser. So Hurts is not playing for the Eagles. He's playing for himself. No, I think what they did was they compromised, Sam. Sam, I think they compromised. They said this, we'll get you a coach, Nussmeier, and we'll get you a coordinator that you're going to be dealing 100% with. And we're going to keep Nick, and we're going to put him in a different role. And that's exactly what has happened. He's in a completely different role. To get him, get this, they put him in a different role to get him away from Jalen. Think about that. They put him in a different environment to get him away from Jalen. Okay? I mean, some of you people are just so ridiculous. We're favored over the Packers. You were favored over the Giants, the Cardinals, the Seahawks. By the way, I happen to agree with Nick Wright. I'm with him on one thing here. Who says you're better until you go out and prove it? Who says you're better? You're assuming it. Not even the coaches on the Philadelphia Eagles talk like that. You're assuming so much that you have absolutely righted the ship and that you're going to have all this great leadership and all this shit. And let's see it play out Friday. I'm with you. I can't wait to see it. I cannot wait. You're less experienced on defense. I mean, I don't have to go over that. We're not there anymore. This is not exhibition season, though, any longer. We're in game week. That talk is over. No more of that talk. It's now rent's due, and it's on Friday. Let's go. Okay? It's no more of that. You're assuming you're better. We're going to find out how good you are. We're going to find out how in tune you are. We're going to find out how experienced you are. We're going to find out if your quarterback can handle the blitzes. All of this is on display. All of this will be on display Friday. Okay? Philly goes like this. You're assuming the Packers are better. Yeah, because they have a better head coach and they have a better quarterback that can throw the ball better. That guy's done more in 1 year individually as a passer than Hurts has ever done in an entire career. I mean, it's pretty remarkable. And he's got a better play caller than Kellen Moore. Matt LaFleur is a better play caller. Okay. Excuse me. One thing is for sure, dude. At least Matt LaFleur gets out of the first round of the playoffs where Kellen Moore's never. Records say otherwise? Well, wait a minute. I know Matt LaFleur's gotten out of the first round. Kellen Moore's never. He's never been out of the first round in the playoffs. Ever. Ever. Like ever. When? Hey. They got out against San Francisco. No, they got beaten in the divisional round. That's right. They've never been past the divisional round. That's right. Let me finish up here with Nick. I got to take a timeout because Angelo Cataldi's coming up. Matt LaFleur is a better head coach. Of course he's a better head coach. Look at his record. I mean, the Green Bay Packers have had 3 quarterbacks in 35 years. Here we go. Something about the Price is Right and all that. He said Jalen's done a really good job in camp. Okay. Mr. Word Salad. Okay. Folks, Angelo Cataldi, we're going to ask him if he's moved off his 5-win prediction. Angelo predicts that the Eagles will win only 5 games. I've moved mine. Okay? I've moved mine. But 5 wins. Angelo Cataldi at the bottom of the hour. Our good friends at BetUS. For this football season, man, you probably had yourself an absolutely sensational time. Sensational time this past weekend with all those college football games. Absolutely insane. And BetUS and JAKIB Sports have teamed up this football season. You're looking for a new betting house. This is your place. 125% bonuses on all of your deposits of the first 3 deposits, we should say, of up to $2,000. Do me a favor, go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. It is the fastest payouts in the business. 24/7 personalized service, 365 days of the year, live wagering on all major games. Absolutely sensational. Please go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. We so appreciate that. You guys are great flexing. We can't thank you enough. That is absolutely sensational. Angelo Cataldi will be with us at the bottom of the hour. Hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
Michael Vick at BetUS.com. Catch an incredible 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, plus 10% gambler's insurance. BetUS, my online sportsbook and casino.
The following is a presentation of JAKIB Sports.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
Michael Vick at BetUS.com. Catch an incredible 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, plus 10% gambler's insurance. BetUS, my online sportsbook and casino.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
He's blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid
as long as you face the fear.
and keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
Heading down the shore, have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood day.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
Imagine for a moment that you went to work today and when you came home, you were catastrophically injured. Your life and your family's life. That's what happened to union construction worker Mike Little.
I was scared of what the end was going to be, but to be 100% honest with you, I knew I was going to be all right just by talking with Brian. In my heart, I just knew everything was going to be all right.
Call the firm and find out why they say, "We got this." Call 215-458-2222.
Michael Vick at BetUS.com. Catch an incredible 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, plus 10% gambler's insurance. BetUS, my online sportsbook and casino.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Sales National Football Show. Please hit the like button. Angelo Cataldi, who's becoming maybe a little bit more controversial even after his exit from WIP and his retirement. Because, again, he's one of the very last guys that says the truth and says what's on his mind. I always admired that. By the way, it's not the point if you're right or wrong. At least you have an opinion. Guys that do my job today don't have opinions. That's the problem that some of you have. You have a problem with people with opinions. Take a look at our society today. Anybody with an opinion, you have a problem with it. Okay? You have a right to have an opinion. You have a right to vote for somebody. You have a right to do whatever you want. That doesn't make it right. But people moan and bitch and cry and turn into some of the snowflakes that you are, and you start crying. I mean, holy cow. You start crying. Crazy, man. Hey, by the way, I really have to say one more time about the NFL. So let me get this right. What in the world, and I happen to agree with the players, why are you playing this game in Brazil and not in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania? Because you want to do what? Expand the NFL flag? So let me get this right. How many people in Brazil do you even think know what pro football is? None? So let me get this. You think they know anything about American football in Brazil? Brazil, who's won more World Cups than any team that FIFA's ever put on a field. Do you actually believe people in that country grow up to want to be Tom Brady? Why are you doing that? What's the point? Trying to get more fans? Why? Fans don't do anything for you. From Brazil. The television networks in America are the ones that dictate the money. The NFL owners aren't getting rich because people show up to Lincoln Financial. That's why. They're getting rich because of TV ratings and TV revenue. Don't you get it? It's about time zones. It absolutely has nothing to do with playing in Brazil. One of the biggest crime countries on the planet. And you're sending players there to play a game in a country that doesn't believe in free elections and free speech. Jesus, I thought you guys hated Trump. And you're okay with playing a game in a country that some of you would say embodies Trump? But you're okay with that? And the league is? You got to love it. You got to love how hypocrite people can be and how hypocritical. I can't stand Donald Trump. Well, you're going to a country that you think Trump is. Free elections and free speech have been denied in Brazil. But you're cool with that. Oh, okay. What? Trump's a fascist, but playing in Brazil's American. The NFL obviously needs more place kicker sales. Yeah, I mean, I don't get it. I absolutely don't get it. Angelo Cataldi. Okay? Angelo Cataldi at the bottom of the hour here. We will talk with him, man. I'll tell you what, good to see that the 49ers ended up getting Trent Williams. And they're finalizing that deal to have him on the football field this coming Monday night against the Jets because you're going to need him. That's a pretty good defense that's going to be coming after Brock Purdy. I would make a comment that Trent Williams is probably the third best player in the National Football League. Okay? Probably the third best when it comes to players at their respected positions or any position for that matter. Okay? So, guys, please hit the like button. We appreciate you. Thank you again. You guys have been absolutely great. Okay? Don't let me into that, Sills. Don't. Hey, Sam, I'm not. Sam, I'm not lumping anybody. And by the way, I'm not making any kind of political kind of comments here, but it's funny how politics have come into the equation when it comes to playing sports. You had it with the Eagles and those stupid ads. Then you turn it around now and you're playing it in Brazil, in a country that's a fascist country. How does the advertisers even how are you even cool with that? I don't get it. Okay? I don't get it. It doesn't make sense. Hey, before we get Angelo on, this will be at the bottom of the hour. I was gonna wait and do this. Oh, by the way, I'm gonna talk about what Jalen said after I get on Angelo. But I will say this: ESP, you know that guy, Elliot Spitzer, Shore Parks thing guy, said that he wouldn't give up 6 first-rounders for Jalen Hurts. Let me think about that for a minute. 6 first-rounders. And I'm not even going to do the obvious here. Okay? I'm not even going to do the obvious here on quarterbacks that I would take over Hurts. Okay? He said 6 first-rounders for Jalen Hurts. He goes, I wouldn't surrender 6 first-rounders. Guy, you don't have to walk around on your knees so bad. Okay? Okay. Would I take Jalen Hurts over Aaron Rodgers? Yes. Would I take him over Tua? Yeah. Would I take him over whomever in New England? Yeah. Would I take him over Allen? Never. Would I take him over Lamar Jackson? Never. Would I take him over Burrow? Never. Would I take him over Watson? Yeah, probably. Would I take him over whomever in Pittsburgh? Yeah, probably. Would I take him over Trevor Lawrence? Probably. See, I'm being honest here. Would I take him over? I don't even know who the guy in Tennessee is. Yeah, probably. I'll tell you something, man. I tell you, really, I'm not going to lie here. And I don't know how Angelo's going to respond to me, but I turn on that WIP or that 97.5, and I swear to God, I think I'm watching Fireside Chats or listening to Fireside Chats. Holy shit. Is there nothing but absolute, pom-pom waving is an understatement. Holy cow. Jalen Hurts makes a comment. I'm going to get Angelo up here. By the way, we got it here. This is where I get my, you want to know how I do my show? Page 193. Although Arnie was, I can read you guys like we're sitting here like we used to do with Truman Capote back in the day. And I could do things like that and have a read here for you. And I could teach you how to do sports talk. It's simple. All you got to do is follow the book. That's what I do. I'm very simple. I'm Italian. All right. All that being said here now. So I'm listening to Hurts go, yeah, the organization and all halted my growth as a quarterback because it was an organizational decision that Jason Kelce would handle all blitz protections. Everyone knows blitz protections is how you get pre-snap read, and a quarterback's learning process is on how to read defenses. You got to first pick up the pressure and know where the pressure's coming from to read a defense. That's why he struggled at it. So that was an organizational decision, and Jalen called him out on it. I'm not mad at Jalen. I'm mad because they did the same crap to Wentz. They did the same thing to Wentz, but Jalen was the first guy to stand up and go, well, this is the first year it's going to be mine. Let's bring the man in, and let's get his opinion. By the way, I wonder if he's moved off that 5 wins. He is. Angelo, it's gotten worse.
Oh, it's gotten bad. If you're saying that I moved to Philadelphia because the media was tough in sports. I had the greatest writers, Stan Hockman, Mark Wicker, John Schulian. It was a parade, all at the Daily News. I wasn't that thrilled with the columnists that were working at the Inquirer, to be honest with you. They were softer. But I like the guys that went for the jugular. These guys now, they think they're in public relations. This isn't even covering a team. And I got to be honest, I love the fans. They were with me for so long. I don't want the Eagles to be bad this year. But if you hear a cackle coming from Chestnut Hill on Friday night when the Eagles are down 3 touchdowns in the second half, understand I will be cackling not at those fans and not even at that team. I'll be cackling at a media that has convinced itself, and then the people that listen or read them or whatever they do with them, that this team is going to be really, really good. They are not going to be really, really good. I've seen enough football to know the difference between a pretender and a contender. And this team,
5 wins. Wow.
And,
he is not
Friday night is not water.
No, they're going to lose that game on Friday, in my opinion. They're going to lose that. By the way, I have to admit something to you, Angelo. So Marcus Hayes reached out to me, and I go to him and I say, hey, listen, I'd love to get you on. He goes, I hear Angelo likes you. So I'm going to come on your program this week. And I told him, I said, oh, my God, that's fantastic. So he goes, listen, he goes like this, you're a pretty controversial guy. I go, well, I realized something that Angelo taught me. If you're saying that telling the truth is controversial, then, hey, I'm all that because I'm with you, Angelo. I look at this team and all the things I see about it, I go like this. Okay, there's a lot of talent on offense. I got it.
True.
But what about the massive issues on defense?
Massive.
Vic Fangio came out and said this. Today, that the Huff's not a 3-down player. Where are you getting your pressure from? Your secondary is going to be young and old and all in the same thing. There's no middle ground. Your linebackers, the comment that he made, Angelo, was it's evolving and we really aren't set in our way. So you're going to play a game against the Packers and you don't even know who your starting backers are?
Well, you didn't play them. You didn't play them in the preseason. No, I got to tell you, Dan, the one thing that got me since the last time I've been on, I've been laughing my ass off at this for a long time. So the Eagles had 16 practices encompassing their training camp. And against all logic, in the first 15, Jaylen Hurts did not throw a single interception. And in the 16th and final training camp, he did. Slay picked one off, ran it back 30 yards. And the people covering the team were going, oh my God, how great is Hurts right now? And I, because I try to look at it objectively, went, how bad is the defense? It's like it was the last 7 games last year. They didn't cover anyone. And they didn't cover anyone in the preseason. I watched that third game against the third string quarterback, and he had his day. And everyone was wide open. Jordan Love, right now, as we're speaking, I'm breaking a story here, is being treated for severe dehydration because when he looked at the tape of the Eagles, he began drooling so profusely they had to give him an IV. You understand? The guy has no liquid left. He drooled. This defense is bad. It's bad. It's not. It's bad. And Vic Fangio is not a miracle worker. He's not going to make these guys good. They got no linebackers. They got rid of Fletcher Cox in the middle. They got these young guys that get tired after 3 games.
Did you hear? Get this. Did you hear what Vic said? Somebody asked him a question. They go, "Hey, do you think they're in shape?" And Vic said this. He goes, "I don't know. You know, that was practice. We didn't get a chance to get any reps in the preseason, really. So I don't know. We'll find out." So you don't know if your guys are in shape or not. That's a shot at the organ. I'll tell you, this guy Vic Fangio, he may not have the players, Angelo, but he's telling you, hey, don't be shocked that these guys aren't in shape because they didn't have any game reps.
You're getting the truth from 2 people right now in the Eagles and lies from everyone else. And the true people, number one is Hurts. He's answering questions honestly. And the media is upset that he's not kissing ass the way they are. All right, that's one. And the other one is Fangio because he's old school and he's being honest with you. He's giving you never get an honest answer from Jonathan Gannon, Shane Steichen, all those guys that precede him. The 2 losers they had last year at coordinators, they finally got a guy now who's giving you the truth. And even he's not sugarcoat. The only guy who's sugarcoat is the paid spokesman for the team, Nick Sirianni. Right? That's all he's doing. He's talking. And nobody, I mean, if you're paying attention to that guy, you're an idiot.
How about this, Angelo? The guy at the press conference today asked him a point-blank question. He goes, so what is it like not being involved in the game plan? And his comments were, well, you know, it gives me a chance to pop in and out. You know, I get to go talk to, like, the parking attendants and the guys over at the player lounge. You know, I get to go talk to how – and I'm like,
great.
Will you answer the question, what's it like not to be involved in a game plan for the first time in 3 years? This guy's the biggest word salad coach I've ever seen. He'll tell you everything you don't want to know.
I don't have sources here, but I think I know. So he pops his head in. Hey, boys, are we getting ready for the game Friday night? And they go, yeah. And then he leaves and all the eyes roll. Oh, thank God he's not doing it this year. But it's not going to matter. Do you understand? Defensively, they are a disaster waiting to happen. I'm saying minimum. Green Bay puts 35 up Friday night. Minimum.
How much does Love put up?
400 minimum. 400 passing yards minimum. And the only reason is they'll stop. This is not a close game. This is a loss. And the media that is so, oh my God, what a team this year. Oh, Howie. Yeah, he put a lot of talent on that team. You still need to coach it. You still need to figure out how to use it. And I don't see that. They never even tried it in the preseason with brand new coordinators. They didn't even put him on a field.
And a new center. Angelo, I want you to hear something that was the other day with Jalen Hurts here. And I want you to hear this here. that was this was played.
NFC, Jalen Hurts admits that he was told not to worry about a lot of things when it came to pass protection with Jason Kelce under center. But now with the passing of the torch to 25-year-old third-year center Cam Jurgens, Hurts will have a more important role in things like picking up the blitz. Here's Hurts on the post-Jason Kelce era.
We had a great player in Jason Kelce who took on a lot of responsibility, and as a result of that, I was told not to worry about a lot of things. And so my eagerness to learn and all of that over the years, kind of was halted because of who we had. But now times are different, and I'm excited for that journey.
Holy crap. I mean, he's basically telling you that the organization told him, don't worry about where pressure's coming from. So think about this for a second, Angelo. That means this: if he comes to the line of scrimmage and Jason Kelce has set the line protection, he can't audible out of that because he's pigeonholed in that scenario. That's why the interceptions were up high last year, because he was set in the direction from the front office and from the coaching staff. He had no way out of that. There's no question, in my opinion. He went to that front office this offseason, and he got him out of that room, and he got Kellen Moore and that Nussmeier guy, and those are the two guys that are handling it.
Right.
There's no question, and he's getting killed for that, Angelo, for telling the truth.
Totally right on all points. And here's what's going to happen. Here's why on offense you should have grave concerns. The Eagles proved at the end of last season they didn't know how to handle the blitz. Now they don't have Kelce. All right. So they didn't even know how to do it when Kelce was there. 10 unmolested attacks at the quarterback in the playoff game. Nobody touched 10 guys rushing at Jalen Hurts. And now you're going to tell me they got that fixed. My theory is when they signed Saquon Barkley, they signed him for his
pass protection,
but just as much, if not more, because he's a really good blocker on the blitz. But here's the problem. If he's doing it, the teams are going to blitz the Eagles like they've never seen before. And that guy is not durable. And if he's constantly on his heels, blocking, he's not going to make it. He's not going to make it through the season. He hasn't made it through the last 3 seasons. Not going to make it physically. And that's why I see problems on the offense. They're going to score points. They've got those 3 receivers now with the addition of Dotson. They've got phenomenal weapons. They're terrific weapons. They're overstating how good the offensive line is, because it's not going to be nearly as good without Kelce. And other weaknesses will show now more. They're using the kid from the Jets, the first round. They're using him now as a guard. If you made the team, they dumped him in New York. They didn't think he could block. And he's a starter on the Eagles. I'm telling you right now, guys, I hate this. I don't know what I would be doing if I had a show every day, because nobody wants to turn on the radio and hear how the Eagles stink this year. But the Eagles stink this year. They're going to win 5 games. Sirianni's going to be fired maybe before the end of the season. They're going to have to reset, and they're going to have to find people to take this talent and make it work.
Angelo, do you think he then, what you're predicting is that he gets in the way?
Oh, he absolutely gets in the way. The thing is, now he's not going to emote on the sideline, all right? I'm still trying to figure out what he's getting paid to do. What is he doing? He's popping in on meetings. He's not doing any game planning. He's not doing any play calling. He's not doing any strategy, because that's all prefigured via the analytics. He's not doing that either. What is he doing? This is a job I'm willing to take because I'm retired. Sounds like he's doing what I'm doing. Nothing.
Hey, and again, when he gets asked these pressing questions, and it's you know what? I got to say, Angelo, there's no doubt that he is the perfect head coach for the owner and for the general manager, because he is a guy that is going to placate to anything that they want. They were asked a question. Vic wanted more practice time, and you know what he said? He goes, I regretted not putting him back on the field this year, but, we made that decision. Dude, you didn't make that decision. The front office made that decision for you. Right. So he placates to that. And at the end of the day, Angelo, that's getting in the way because he has no autonomy in the locker room.
Well, I got to say, I'll agree with you that this is a good coach for the owner because the owner wants just everyone around him to kiss his ass. He's not a good coach for the general manager, who is, again, I thought had a good off season. They have talent. The thing that will drive you insane is that offense has got as much talent on it as any Eagles team I've seen. And they're still going to have trouble because they can't do basic stuff that good coaching could counteract, like handling blitzes, stuff like that. That's going to be a problem. Defense, they're overrating the young kids from Georgia. I hate to say it, they're overrating them. You can't lose Fletcher Cox and Jason Kelsey and Hassan Reddick and tell me you're going to be better. And you were terrible with all three of them last 7 games last year. I'm sorry. I hope I'm wrong. I will come on this show next week and eat a live crow if the Eagles go out and crush the Packers on Friday night. But I would be shocked because the Eagles are vastly overrated. And they're 2.5-point favorites.
At some places, 3.
3-point favorites in Brazil. This isn't even at the link. This is in Brazil. Not going to happen, guys. I hate to say it. They're going to get swamped on Friday night.
No, I'm with you. I think the Packers put up a 35 spot or more, and he puts up 450 yards passing. I mean, it's just going to be whether or not they can keep him out of the end zone from red zone. And I just don't see where's the advantage that the Eagles have on defense against the Packer offense. Where's the advantage? I don't see one place.
No, and the Packers are going to tee off on Hurts.
They're going to blitz him in the first quarter. They're going to find out if he can handle it. Actually, they're going to find out if Cam Jurgens can handle it.
I feel for Cam Jurgens. I know he's a good player, but he's in an impossible spot trying to take over for Kelsey. He is. He's going to pale by comparison. And I'll tell you one other thing. I only saw it a couple of times in the preseason. I don't think the tush push is going to work anymore either.
Oh, no. That thing's retired. I think
that was Kelsey.
Yeah, I think it's retired. Angelo, I'm going to take you off the page here a little bit because I saw something over the weekend that kind of was troubling. And now all of a sudden the PR czar, known as the greatness of Bob Lang, is high at work right now. And there's a lot of contradictions going on that some of the people that were working with the Eagles were putting up Kamala Harris posters. And they had Philadelphia Eagle.com. They had all this. And now there's a lady out there that's posting all of these tweets that the guy who was the head of PR for Penn State and also worked with the organization for the Harris campaign and also with the Eagles were totally aware. And all of a sudden, they got some backlash on it. And they started going around saying, well, our vendor. I'm like, well, those are on bus stops. So who's your vendor here? And all of a sudden now they're in massive cleanup mode again. I don't know if you've seen this story at all, but it really it's an interesting story to me because it just shows once again how the Eagles try to control the entire environment around Philadelphia.
I don't know if they had a hand in that. I know when I first saw the ad, I went, wow, that looks almost professional. That's pretty well done.
The fonts look the same. The fonts look the same as the Eagle fonts.
PhiladelphiaEagles.com/vote, which is directly goes right to their own website. And I'm going, then they came right out. Let me say this, all right? And I am not being political here. If the Eagles were to announce that they were supporting Harris strongly, they would lose more than half of their constituency. Because a lot of Trump supporters are Eagles fans, a lot of them. And I found that out when I was talking about the COVID thing when Trump was in, and I might have made a comment or two that didn't please the Trump people. And I went, all right, this is the end of that one.
But Angelo, to the point is, you are a company that's trying to be a civic pride thing, not trying to be like the NBA and pick and tell people who to vote for, take shots or not. You're there because you want Republicans and Democrats at Lincoln Financial enjoying themselves on a Sunday afternoon. not sitting there having political jarbs going back and forth like our country is right now. That's the only place in the world still, Angelo, where you can get Republicans and Democrats and independents in one place and 79,000 fans, and we're watching one thing. I can't think that that's a good look for an organization, that you would want even the impression that you're sitting there doing something like that. Again, I found that. And by the way, the cleanup job is like everywhere right now. And it's plastered all over social media that the Eagles did have some understanding about those billboards.
Yeah, that's the last thing the Eagles need 3 days before they open thing is a political scandal. All I know is this, that the main point you made, Dan, is a great point. The Eagles, more than any team has ever attempted before this, are trying to manage the message, manage every aspect of it, control what's going out into the media, make it align with us. We are the kings, and we will set the agenda. Now, whether it went as far as that, I don't know. But what they have done, and it is work. The sad part to me is it is work. They have intimidated almost the entire media in this town.
Oh, yes.
Being a bunch of cheerleaders and not seeing things accurately. And I have seen this. When the Eagles flop early, and they're going to lose 3 or 4 of the first.
Oh, I think they start 0-2.
They're going to be 1-3 when they go to the bye. And then they'll tell you all along, I had this concern. I knew they were going to have a problem with the blitz. I knew people were overrating that defense. Then they'll tell you all the things they are not saying now and pretend they said it all along. You got to be honest from day one. And if you're really looking at the situation, and look, we are both going to look like blithering idiots if the Eagles win 12 games. And you know what? I will be the first one to bow down and go, man, I'm
no
done.
way.
I'm too negative. But damn, I've seen a lot of football. I'd be shocked. And I hate this because this city's going to be depressed around Halloween when they realize that they have hooked their wagon to a loser. This is a bad team.
What's your prediction on Friday? Got a score in mind?
35-17.
That's not real close, Angelo.
No, it won't be close. It'll be over by the half. But in the fourth quarter, the Packers will show some mercy. They can name their score.
They're gonna
400 yards for Love minimum passing, just passing 400 yards. Write it
Angelo,
down.
The blog. I mean, how's it going? I know that people go there each and every single week there.
If people want the truth, I give it to you every week. It's at angelocataldi.com. And I've been dealing with all this. I've been talking about the Phillies. I think they may be a bit overrated as well. But mainly it's the Eagles and this incredible propaganda machine that the Eagles have rolled out in a city that has never permitted this kind of ass kissing before. It's outrageous.
Do you think that your retirement was the last linchpin to
well, here's
it really seems it, because you know why? They wouldn't even put Sirianni on with you your final week, from what I'm understanding. They wouldn't put him on. And so that was kind of a shot at you. Get this. Think about that for a second. As much as you bitched, as much as they bitch about you, they still know what kind of presence you had for those 40 years being on the air.
Right.
You wouldn't have the respect to go like this out the door. So they would take a shot at you out the door by not putting the head coach on in his final shot going out the door, because they were afraid of what you were going to ask him on the way out the door, because you had nothing. Then again, not that you held back anyway, but
no. I'll tell you what I was going to ask him. I was going to lead with it. And I was ready to let them know this is what I'm leading with. Because the week before he had attacked me publicly for not liking Jonathan Gannon. And in the second half of that Super Bowl,
I remember that,
the Eagles fell apart. They fell apart. It would have been 4 touchdown drives, but the fourth one, the guy went down at the 1-yard line, so they couldn't give the ball back to the Eagles. And I would have started by going, First question, I would have gone, so do you still really love Jonathan Gannon? That's what I would have asked him. And you know what? At that point, if he was a man's man, he would have gone, I still love Jonathan. He did so much for us, but that wasn't his finest moment. And I shouldn't have attacked you the way I did when you said Jonathan Gannon sucks as a defensive coordinator. Little did I know they'd find one just as bad the next year. but
Angelo,
I
do you
asked him about it because he made me a part of the story. On my final week, he went, I want to talk to Angelo here. Yeah, you want to talk to me if you win. You don't want to talk to me if you lose. And your guy fell flat on his face. Meanwhile, behind your back, he's interviewing for the next job. He's talking to the people in Arizona. Oh, it was awful. He didn't come on because I would have confronted him with all the things that they said and all the things that actually happened. And he didn't want to deal with that. So see you later.
How about this, Angelo? Do you think that came from the owner and the general manager, or do you think that came from Nick?
I don't know. The owner, we have a 28-year feud going. The owner may not even remember I was still there at this point. I don't know. He moved on. But to answer your original question, did things get different after I left?
Yeah.
They get different in one way, all right? When I was there, I could say what I thought, unfettered, because Bob Lang could call whoever the hell he wanted. I was going to say what I wanted till the last day, all right? And my bosses knew that. And once I left, the new people did not have the same level of latitude that I did, because they weren't grandfathered into an era in Philadelphia when you could say what
they didn't have the equity
without the teams calling your friggin' boss every day. That didn't happen the first 20 years that I was there. And then when they started trying to manage it, I fought back on it. But once I'm out of there, everybody's saying, well, I don't want to tick off our business partners. We're the flagship station of the Eagles. I better make sure what I'm saying is, if not kind, at least not obnoxious. That never bothered me. I was often obnoxious.
You know what the word obnoxious means to me? Conviction. Okay. Wow. So, I mean, whatever people say that to me, because they say that I have a way of like antagonizing people. And I go, well, if antagonizing means I'm forthright and I tell the truth, then you got it. I'm all over that. But it just seems to me, Angelo, that city, when I tune on a radio show, I think I'm tuning on like LA radio. It just sounds snowflake stuff. And I'm like, man, I mean, all the way back when you first started and all that hardcore, people forget it wasn't FAN that started Sports Talk. It was IP that started a year earlier. And they had national guys on. You guys went completely local, and New York picked it up at WFAN and went, we need to be local like they're doing it in Philly, like you guys were doing it. And it's really a transformation over the last 4 years. And I'll say this one last thing to you, Angelo. I don't care who you get on as host at WIP. Do you know why that station works? Because of the fans. What you wrote in the book here is this. You could have a trained monkey be behind the mic right now. And very special ones were able to translate those numbers and get advertisers like you and Howard Younger and other people that you had on. But when you understand that market, the fans are what make that station roll. It's not the host.
Well, let me tell you, this is why I come on with you all the time, Dan. 100% true. I was the luckiest man alive for 33 years to be able to talk to these fans all the time. They're amazing. They love this stuff, the passion, the feeling. The
best fan base I've ever been talking to.
It isn't. And the fact is that when things don't go right, I'm not sure how these guys are going to react. I don't think they'll ever truly serve the honest criticism that this city has been known for. I don't think that we're going to hear it anymore.
I think the Eagles have poisoned it.
I think the Eagles have set it in a bad direction.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll ever go back the other way again. And
No,
that
because
really
you know what
upset
these companies are now doing, because when you have a property, and like you said, these guys are professional sales anglers now for the companies because
me.
they're afraid of being canceled or cancel culture, what have you, Angelo. And so what happens is you become a professional salesman for the Eagles and not really critical. I mean, you made the point about Howard. I can't believe what I'm watching here. Howard Eskin survives that. Okay. And he's in the front row asking questions at a pit about the upcoming game about Brazil. And I'm thinking, in Philadelphia, they just ran over a guy who had a sexual harassment accusation against them, and they just put that in the back rearview mirror. Since when is that? I mean, it really told me a lot about where that market is right now and the type of people that are behind the mics.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
Angelo,
ironic. Howard in his day was the pioneer of hardcore critical conversation, but not with the Eagles once they gave him sideline access for the games and all the other stuff. And they protected him. They protected him. If they had said, no, we don't want him back on our sideline, that would have been the end. But it wasn't the end. So now he gets to watch a 5-11 season or 5-12 season and make excuses for them also. And make no mistake, he will make excuses for them.
Maybe what you should have did, Angelo, is you should have invited Sirianni over for some pasta fazool. I'm sure your wife makes a mean-ass pasta fazool.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe you guys could have broke some Italian bread because, boy, I'll tell you. Frank Reich gave me his cell phone number. I got in contact with him, and then Bob called me. I haven't told you this one. So he called me. He goes, why would I put on the head coach when you're so critical of the GM? And I go, I'm critical of the GM because his draft choices suck on defense.
Mm.
And he goes, well, no, they don't. I go, well, name me one corner you've drafted in the last 15 years from the draft that started and been a Pro Bowler. You can't. Name me one pass rusher that you've had as a Pro Bowler in the last 15 years that you haven't gone out in free agency and gotten. Couldn't. I said, name me one linebacker that you've drafted in the last 20 years. And he goes, it can't. And I'm going like, well, I can't put on the head coach. And I'm like, why? Because I'm critical of a guy drafting?
Mm.
And that's when he's done. And I saved the text. I'm going to send it to you later and you'll see. And he goes, yeah, you talk so much shit on Howie. And I'm like, he does a lot of things right, but I think you're right, Angelo. I appreciate you doing this for me here. Make sure you check the blog out. The book is doing great. How's the audio part of it doing?
The audio's doing amazingly well. A lot of the people that listen to my show are not huge readers, I have learned.
Hey, well,
I
like the picture. You know what? When I always look for pictures, Angelo, and so when I see pictures, I'm always taken to that, and I go to the pictures right here, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's one of me totally bald, right?
Get out of here.
Yeah, I lost a bet, and I have a totally shaved head. It's like really shiny and all. And I got to be honest with you, that don't let a kid see that. It'll give them nightmares. It's really bad.
Picture of you and Christy. There, she throwing out the first pitch. Good stuff, Angelo. Good stuff, Angelo. Thank you. Hey, you know what? Do you mind if I get you on next week?
Dan, whenever you need me, man, I'm retired. I got plenty of time. And if the Eagles win, I will be happy and more than happy to eat some crow. But they're going to lose decisively on Friday night in Brazil.
We'll be disappointed. Get this. People think we're going to be happy. We're going to be disappointed if they lose.
No. I love this city when the Eagles are winning. But this team isn't. Sorry, not this year.
Angelo, I'll see you next week. Thank you, my friend. Tell your family hi, and we thank them very much. Thank you, Angelo.
And my wife said Sirianni is not getting in this house under any condition.
He sounds like she sounds like my wife. My wife holds grudges too. She's like this. No.
No,
that's not working.
Apologize. Keep my name out your mouth.
Thank you, Angelo. I appreciate it. You got it. The great Angelo Cataldi. We appreciate him so much. And so now, guess what? He'll be on next week. Either to eat crow with Big Sills or have sorrow for the Eagles losing. By the way, I got a feeling this is going to be a weekly deal. Every Monday. JM goes, nobody likes him. Get this. He says that nobody likes Angelo, and he was on 40 years in Philly. Well, I wish someone hated me that long. Holy cow. 40 years. Hey, you hated him a ton, and he was the number 1 rated guy in the city. Wow. Can I have that? Sorrow my ass, Sue says. Stu, if you win, good. If you lose, I'll have sorrow. Stu, don't you believe me? I will have more sorrow than you know. You don't believe I'll have sorrow? Come on, man. Hey, by the way, Gary Cobb will be with us. Xander, make sure you send him off a tweet if you, or an email if you can. Let me know if you got that. Okay, send Gary Cobb off a. You got the link. And look at this. Everybody swears at me. Why do I instigate that kind of language? I mean, why do I have to instigate that kind of language? Xander will join us at the top of the hour at 5 o'clock. Why do I have to have that kind of language being spoken to me? I'm a nice guy here, man. I'm a professional antagonizer, I guess. Hey, do me a favor. Hit the like button. Where are we in the like list right now? Where are we on the like list? Antagonist? No, I'm not an antagonist. I'm Big Sills. Okay? I'm Big Sills. Okay, hold on. 149. Come on, guys. Let's get that bad puppy up there, man. Holy cow. You guys are really moaning over the fact that Angelo and I have upped it from 7 to 9. He says you're going to win 5 games. That's a guy who was on your market for 40 years. What happened? Flexen says 7 and 9. Hold on here. Sills and Angelo get along because they are both delusional about the Eagles. Delusional? No, we speak the truth. We speak the truth. 5 isn't serious. Okay? Dan, don't bow to these stoops. Hey, Rock. Really? Angelo went senile. Come on, man. 5 wins is a bit extreme, Sills. I can't lie. I think 5 wins is a little extreme myself. Okay? All right, guys. Please hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
He's blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid.
as long as you face the fear.
And keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood day.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
Imagine for a moment that you went to work today and when you came home, you were catastrophically injured. Your life and your family's life. That's what happened to union construction worker Mike Little.
I was scared of what the end was going to be, but to be 100% honest with you, I knew I was going to be all right just by talking with Brian. In my heart, I just knew everything was going to be all right.
Call the firm and find out why they say, "We got this." Call 215-458-2222.
Michael Vick at BetUS.com. Catch an incredible 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, plus 10% gambler's insurance. BetUS, my online sportsbook and casino.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Sills National Football Show. Please hit the like button. We appreciate you more than you know. Thank you so much for jumping aboard. C24, thank you for improving the algorithm as you do each and every single show. Thank you very much. Don't know what you're saying. Don't really care what you're saying, but thank you for the algorithm. You absolutely are a major part. Please keep posting away all the posts you possibly can. Thank you, man. Can't thank you enough. You help us so much more than you know. Thank you for the algorithm. You see, algorithm doesn't read. It just knows that you're engaged. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. God, we can't do it without you and LJ and all you guys. Thank you so much. Keep pounding it away, C24. I don't really care what you're saying, nor will I acknowledge it in a way like what you're saying, just as long as you're there. Big Sills knows that you care. That I know that you're there. I know that you care. How you doing? Yes, sir, baby. Keep it going, baby. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Hey, Xander will do it at 5 o'clock, and we'll talk to him there. Gary Cobb is going to join us at the bottom of the hour. I got to say this to you before we move on to Jalen Hurts and what Jalen Hurts said. Lamar Jackson's got to win that game Thursday night. He's got to start setting the record straight, and you got to start righting the ship there on what happened in that AFC title game. Dog, you're a great football player. You're a great football player, but you got to win those games, man. You got to go into KC and win that ball game. That's a big game for him. Patrick Mahomes doesn't need to win that game. Flexing, absolutely, thanks to all. Think about it, man. Okay? Patrick Mahomes doesn't have to win that game Thursday. He doesn't have to win it. His career now is being compared to Brady. So whether he wins 10, you know how you guys are talking about 12, 13, 14 wins? They don't talk like that shit in Kansas City. They don't care. They count trophies. You count wins. There's the difference between Kansas City and Philadelphia. They count trophies. You count wins. That's why you're 1-3. That's why they're going for a three-peat. There lies the difference in mentality. You guys are trying to get to a bowl game. Those guys are trying to go undefeated and do something spectacular. You know what that is? A three-peat. We've never seen that since the Packers in the 60s, where teams won 3 championships in a row. Okay? No one's won 3 Super Bowls in a row. You guys are talking about wins, not Super Bowls. I think we're going to win 13, 14 games. They're talking about winning a 3rd Super Bowl in a row. How you doing? Okay? Hey, get this. Yeah, you're right. It's only been 6 years. That's the mentality they started. It's been 6 years now. 4 Super Bowl appearances and 3 wins. That's right. That's right. Well, you think the New England Patriots had a stellar history prior to Brady? You'll have to help me out on the Steve Grogan era. You'll have to help me on the Grogan era. Hey, exactly, Sills is talking it too. 5 wins. I never said 5 wins. I never said 5 wins. Absolutely not. I've never said 5 wins. Make sure Angelo's on Monday. Rob, he's coming on. He said it. Whether they win or lose, he's coming on Monday. He'll be on Monday. What do you think, he's going to run and hide? Holy cow. What do you think? He's like a host on WIP. If somebody does something wrong, they run and hide. Ain't going to do that. If the Eagles defense stops the Packers defense one time, I will vote blue for the first time ever. Come on, man. Come on, man. Hey, come on. That's not nice. Hit the like button here. Let's talk about Oh, wait. I want to finish up that exercise. Let me go back and do that again. ESP says that Jalen Hurts is worth 6 Super Bowls. And I want to do that again here. Let me see. Let's see here. He said, no, he's worth 6 first-rounders, which is absolute ass-kissing. Absolute ass-kissing when it comes to covering that team. Let's see here. Okay. Hold on here. Will I take him over Rodgers? Yes. Tua? Yes. May or Jacoby Brissett? Yes. Allen? Never. Would I take him over Lamar Jackson? Never. Burrow? Never. Deshaun Watson? Probably. The Pittsburgh guys? Yes. Jacksonville? Trevor Lawrence? Yeah. I don't even know who's in Tennessee. Houston? C.J. Stroud? Never. Indy? Anthony Richardson? I'm going to say right now, yes. Denver? Bo Nix? Yes. Chargers? Herbert? Never. Las Vegas? Gardner Minshew? Yoki. Kansas City? I won't even say. The Giants? Daniel Jones? Yes. Jaden Daniels right now? Yes. Dak? Probably yes. Chicago? Caleb? I don't know. Right now? Yes. Minnesota? Yes. Anything. Even that JJ guy, he stinks. Green Bay? Love? Never. Golf? No. Mayfield? Yes. Carr? Yes. Bryce Young? Yes. Cousins? Yeah. Stafford? Right now? Let me get back to that one. Seattle? Geno? Yes. Purdy? No. Kyler Murray? Yes. Stafford? No. No. And he's older. Caleb over Jalen? Well, you don't know that yet, Windy City. You don't know that yet. Okay? You don't know that. Get this. Golf is trash. Name me one thing, JM, that Jalen Hurts has done more than Jared Goff. One thing. One thing. Get this. McVay gave up on golf, and he took a team further a year ago, and he got a $53 million contract in Detroit. Ooh, who won that? Detroit. Golf. Wait a minute. JM's trying to tell you that. Get this. McVay gave up on golf. Well, the guy just put a team in the NFC title game and got a $53 million 3-year guaranteed contract. or with guaranteed money, that was the highest, second highest of all time. Who won that again? Help me out on this one. Jared Goff got a raise. Only after they surrounded him with talent that Stafford never had. He had fucking Megatron. He had one of the greatest wide receivers in pro football history up there. Why? Your guy's surrounded by superstars too. And he doesn't do near the shit that Goff does. Goff throws for 4,600 yards and 30 TDs every year. What are you talking about? What in the world are you talking about? Okay? No running back. No running back. I don't know. Did a guy have 1,000 yards last year up in Detroit? I must have missed that. Whatever, dude. Whatever. Funny, isn't it? Detroit didn't have a winning record, and Stafford was 1-3 in the postseason in Detroit. He goes up there and does more in 1 year or in 2 years of him being in Detroit than Stafford ever did. And it was a rebuild. And when he went there, he was supposed to be a stopgap coach or a quarterback. Instead, they gave him a contract extension. How do you give a guy who's supposed to be just a bridge quarterback a $53 million contract extension? That's some bridge quarterback. That's some bridge quarterback. Woo! Jalen Hurts now. Here we go, baby. Hit the like button. We love you. We love you guys. Hey, man. I'm going to say it one more time. I hope you don't lose Friday. I'm not praying for you to lose. You know why? That doesn't help my show. That doesn't help my show. You missed me completely. I'm not praying for you to lose. Because you know what folks do? They run and hide. I don't want you to run and hide. Are you crazy? I want you to be right there because most of you will run and hide if they lose. They don't want to see it over again. Yale goes, I'll take Hurts over Goff. Go right ahead. I'll take Goff. And I don't like Jared Goff. But he's effective and efficient. And he wins. And he's been to 2 NFC title games. 2 different teams. I mean, I don't know. Look what good coaching does for him. You get good coaches around him, Johnson and McVay, take your team to conference title games. You don't put any coaching. Jalen's done had good coaching always around him. Hey, listen. I'm not debating it here. Let's listen to Hurts and what Jalen Hurts said. Gary Cobb, bottom of the hour from Fox 29 in Philly. Jalen was asked a question about Dotson. He says he works hard, enjoys being around him. It's going to be interesting to see how they use him and if Hurts can find him where he hasn't found that position. In 3 years, he's been the starting quarterback. Will this be a different year? Will Kellen help that? Probably. Okay. Probably. Okay. So we'll see. Again, everything is going to be on display Friday. All the stuff you've been saying and all the stuff I've been saying. Some going to be right. Someone's going to be right out of the gate. But that's not going to be really the indictment show come next Monday. Because you know why? Okay, we saw what happened last year. You guys were out of the gate great. Then by the end of the year, the thing was a train wreck. So that's going to be a telltale sign of how the start of the season is going to be, which in all indications, the Eagles the last couple of years have started the season out well. Okay? Oh, boy, I can't wait to eat crow come Monday. Oh, boy, I can't wait. You crazy? Yeah. Hey, Andreas, What's a bad take? Tell me. I'm interested. Andreas, what's a bad take? What was a bad take? The stuff that I was talking about, your coaches? What's a bad take, dude? I want to hear what he says about a bad take. Know what that I said? You win 9 games? That's an opinion. It doesn't suit you well. I understand. Angelo was the one that said 5. Golf is not better than Hurts. No, I said golf has done more than Hurts. That's what I said, Abe. Is that golf has done more. No, Jack. You got to understand something. Jack, how can I troll when this is my show? I don't understand that. I'm not on somebody else's show or on somebody else's Twitter trolling them. How am I don't get it. Get this. Eagle Podcast says Green Bay has a suspect defense too. We cannot exploit their deficiencies. They're better than you though on defense. They're better than you. And they got better by the end of the year last year. They got better than you. Okay, you got worse, and you got now. You're without Reddick and without Fletcher Cox, and you're better. You think because you drafted 2 guys. That doesn't equate. Hey, Andreas, I'm still waiting. Here we go. Big Seals. Oh no, that's Amber. Excuse me. I'm still Amber. I apologize because I'm still waiting on Andreas because he said that I had like a bad take. I'm just curious. Give me one. Who's the Packers defense going to cover wide receivers, tight end? Anything better than what you guys have? By the way, all of it Friday. All Friday. Let's get to Jaylen. Okay? Let's get to Jaylen. Golf is better than Hurts. Do you watch games? Yeah. Yeah. Guy throws for 4,500 yards, wins 13 games, been to a Super Bowl, won an NFC championship, took another team to an NFL title, NFC championship, threw for 35 touchdowns last year, 4,600 yards. Yeah, I watch it. Do you? Okay. I mean, yeah. Hurry up, 4:30. I can't take this anymore. Love it. Rent is due. Hey, Pete. Rent's due, baby. Sills. Hurts beats the Lions 44-3. Golf was starting. Okay. And you lost to Zach Wilson. Ooh, God. Ooh, ow. And the pizza guy. Yeah, JM goes like this. McVay said, and no thanks. Well, we'll see what happens when McVay doesn't have Stafford in that building anymore. And this guy wins the Super Bowl this year. I got the Lions winning the Super Bowl, by the way. That's my pick. The Lions win the Super Bowl. I'll tell you this. If the Lions win the Super Bowl this year, Jared Goff will go to the Hall of Fame. Because that'll mean that he had gone to 2 conference titles, 3 NFC championships, and he's going to have nearly 50,000 passing yards. And probably 350 or more touchdown passes when he's done. If he gets a Super Bowl championship with the Lions and you combine the things that he's done, he's going to put himself in the conversation for the Hall of Fame. Now, again, he's got to go do it. And I'm predicting them to beat the Bengals in the Super Bowl. That's my prediction. Lions over the Bengals in the Super Bowl. Okay? Well, JM, you got a whole shitload of ands, ifs, and buts on defense. Let me finish this thing here. Angelo was very harsh on the Eagles. I saw Gary Cobb posting some stuff earlier today with some pretty good stuff on Barkley. By the way, I guess he was sensational out there over the weekend. Now, before I bring Gary Cobb on, I got to prepare Gary Cobb because Angelo said, and I don't know if I can even say this, but Angelo's going to come on Monday. And everyone knows that Gary's been so kind with his time, so he's going to come on every Monday. And he predicted this amount of wins. I can't even say it out loud because Gary will see it. This amount of wins. He said 5 wins. So let's bring in Gary Cobb and see if he's going to contradict that and say it was on last hour, and he said this football team come Friday will surrender over 400 yards in passing yards to Jordan Love. And he said something like 35-17 Packers. And that the Eagles win only 5 games. What says Gary Cobb?
I mean, me and Angelo, we're good friends. Angelo's good with me. I'm good with Angelo, but I don't agree with him though. No, I don't agree with him. I mean, and I could see where he's looking at last year and some
and
of
the
things,
defense
and the defense. So I think the defense is probably going to have some challenges. They got a lot of young players that just getting it together. But I think offensively, though, I mean, this is the most talented Eagles offense when it comes to the players. And and I've been around the Eagles for 30-some years. It's the most talented group they've had. Now,
you think this is the most talented offensive personnel, Gary, they've had in the Super Bowl era?
When you just talk about personnel, yes, I think it is. Because now, of course, all of this circles around how Jaylen is going to play. He's been playing well. It seems like he's got a good flow with Kellen Moore. He's getting the ball out of his hands. I think you're going to see a team that is, like some. I'm not going to start throwing names around, but great quarterbacks that I played against. They got the ball out of their hands. And he's getting the ball out of his hands. Of course, as the game goes along, he's going to start taking more shots downfield and everything. But I see an offense that's, because I'm saying if I'm standing over, I got to deal with Saquon Barkley. You got him back there all the time aimed at you. And then you look at the receivers. I mean, A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith. They bring Dotson in here. You got Dallas Goedert. I mean, they have a lot of talent. The thing is, they got to go out and execute. Of course, you need a team that stays healthy. But I see a team that can put points on the board. And I think that Kellen Moore coming in here, see, that's the difference from last year. Last year, thing was not flowing. I'm telling you, they're flowing at practice. But we're going to see. We're going to see. But I think that you got a team that's going to do much better. You talk about 5 wins. I mean, if they do, Philadelphia, they're going.
Oh yeah, no, that's not going to go well here.
If they do 5, I tell you what, Angelo's going to have to come in and do a hero thing just to save the team so that they can get home from the game. Because they got things to prove though. They do have things to prove. They got to go out there and they got to do it. But they have a lot of talent. I think anybody take a look at that, you see they got a lot of talent.
How about this, Gary?
Yeah.
I was listening to Vic Fangio talking to the media, and boy, I got to tell you, there is no question he wanted more practice time and more game type reps. And I'm talking exhibition football because listen to this responses. So they were asked a question about conditioning for Jordan Davis and for Jalen Carter. You know what he said? Well, we'll find out. That's practice. That's not game situation.
That's right.
And he also goes on to say, my linebacking core is not set in stone. It's something that's still evolving right now.
Yes.
So quite frankly, He's not. Can you imagine? You're 3 days out and you don't know who your linebackers are right now.
Well, I'll tell you.
I mean, Gary.
I understand why he's being like that. I understand why he's being like that. I mean, come on. These guys haven't proven themselves against anybody. I mean, and I think that keeping this kind of a mindset and him being on them like this is the best thing could happen to their defense. I mean, if they're going to do anything, I don't know how good they are. They don't know how good they are. So, and that's what he said. They asked him, "What's the biggest question you have?" I'd like to see how good these guys are.
Yeah, I heard that. I heard them go, well, we want to know how good they are. And then he also brings this up. They asked the question again, Gary, it's September 3rd, and here's for the 4th time. Hey, what do you think of Bryce Huff? He goes, he's coming along. He's not where he needs to be. To me, I'd read that as he's not a 3-down lineman yet or a 3-down player yet. I mean, so your number one guy that you made a $51 million investment, the defensive coordinator is still sitting there going like this. Well, it's a work in progress.
I mean, I appreciate a coach like that, though.
I do too, but do you think he had a fight? Because Sirianni even said this, Gary, certain coaches wanted to have more practice time and certain coaches wanted to play in the exhibition season. I have to balance that. And I'm like, you ain't balancing shit. Those are people upstairs telling you what to do there. So, I mean, you think that's a shuttle shot at saying, we don't really know what we have on defense yet.
I think it is. I mean, I wouldn't go into a season without having my guys out there. Let's get a look at. Let's see what we got.
Agreed.
This was always the way, but see, that's old. And I'm trying to come in here and bring out this old school stuff. But you have your guys go out there. You want to see what they look like in a real game and everything. You're not talking about scrimmage. You're talking about a real football game against the other team. And so I think that there are definitely some questions. That's what this season is about, is to see how good this defense is, how well do they play against a good team. And, it would be great if you were starting out against, we'll start blasting some of these teams. But,
New York. I'll take New York.
Yeah, we'll take the Giants any day.
Yeah.
They'll pay for the flight to fly them down to be able to play them. But no, they're playing Green Bay, and
big game.
Green Bay was lighting it up last year in the playoffs. They were lighting up some good teams. So, we're going to find out. I mean, and it's a challenge, and I can't say, I give my opinion. That's all it is. It's an opinion.
Yep.
Because I look at the offense and I say, well, and then what I'm thinking is, this offense is going to need to be good early in the season because they got to carry that defense because, you see a lot of young players over there and you can see these guys are learning the NFL game. You got, kids out there, guys, young players who are out there and they've got a lot to learn. But this is why they play the games. And I tell you what, the thing about it is some of the guys that come in, they haven't played in Philly before. Well, like after they play this game, and then when they get back home, depending on how they did, all they gotta do is walk down the street. People will let them know either we like what we saw or we didn't like what we saw, and they don't pull any punches. So,
are you saying people talk under their breath in front of you?
hey, I mean, they do not pull their. I mean, I could walk. Oh man, the birds. They start off. I don't even have to say anything. I walk in a place, man, Cobb. Such and such, like they were going off last year at the end of the season. I'm going like, I just sat there and let them go, man, because a lot of times they're saying the truth. They're not making stuff up. So the offense, I mean, they are coming in. They do have a lot of talent, but there's going to be a lot expected of them, and they got to come in and play. And they're going to have to start off this season because, some, talking to some of the reporters and things over there, they were, they expect a high-scoring game.
Yeah,
that's what they expect.
I do too. I think it's
high-scoring game. Yeah,
I think it's in the mid-30s somewhere in there. I think you're going to see some big numbers up here. One thing is evident too. One thing about Fangio, you could tell he really likes Quinyon Mitchell because he was asked a question about him. And Gary, I got an opinion on this. This is not something, and I took this from him. And I think people are maybe missing this. I don't think they want Quinyon Mitchell to beat Isaiah Rodgers out. Why would you want him to beat a younger player out when that younger player could be here for the next 3 or 4 years? I think they want him to beat Slay out by the end of the year. I mean, isn't that the person that they would want Mitchell replacing? Because he's 34 years old, going to be 35 at the top of the calendar this year. He's going to make $12 million. I mean, at the end of the day, that's the guy they want him replacing. He'd be cornerback number 1, isn't it?
Well, maybe that's what they want. I don't know that, you know.
Because why wouldn't he start over Isaiah Rodgers now? It can't be because he's not as – how about this? Wouldn't you agree, Gary? If he's as equally talented, maybe even not as knowledgeable, but equally as talented.
Yeah.
Him being the 22nd pick, wouldn't you want him to get reps out there in that corner spot instead of having him in the slot or nickel?
You would. Yeah, you would. I think probably if the other youngster had been healthy the whole time. I mean, DeJean.
Cooper DeJean.
Yeah, if DeJean had been healthy the whole time,
okay,
they probably would have had him working over there. But right now, really, he's playing in the spot that they wanted DeJean in there. They looked at DeJean playing the nickel spot and Quentin being outside outside the outside cornerback.
And maybe Mitchell has more versatility where he can do that because I'll tell you this. When I saw Cooper DeJean on the field against Minnesota, Gary, I didn't see corner hips. I saw safety hips.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I know people in Philly are talking about him playing on the numbers, but you and I know what a corner looks like, and I'm not sure I see it there.
I didn't see the quickness there either. I didn't see that. You know, I saw a safety. That's what I thought I saw out there. Now, you know, he hadn't been playing, so you know, I said, well, maybe that's it. But I'm going to continue to watch him to see, you know, if he's got the quickness to be out there in that corner because, you know, it takes somebody that's got some burners if you're going to be out there, or they're going to go after you. You know, they're going to be going. Well, they're going to go after you anyway. But if you don't have the burners, boy, it's fast on that highway out there.
Hey, that's the one thing he don't want to do either, Fangio. He don't want to get beat on the numbers. He don't mind in the middle of the field where there's pursuit. But on the numbers is what fears that high safety 2 defense that he plays.
Yes.
That 2-eye safety, man. I mean, he's trying to corral you in the middle of the field in that zone. The numbers are what kills that defense.
Yeah. Now, you know, I like that defense because of the way it is. It's got an aggressive bent to it. Yeah, you know, and they can't get after people. And I hope these guys go out there and have fun, man. The defense should be having fun. I mean, go in there, you know, because they need to get to Love, man. You got to get some pressure on him. You can't let him get comfortable where he's out there and nobody's putting their hands on him. You got to be giving him some licks. We don't want him sleeping when he get on that plane to come back. He should not be able to get any sleep. They got to put some licks on him. And not let him get comfortable back there because that kid can light you up. If you're not putting any pressure on him, you're just letting him sit back there and just pick you apart. You cannot let that happen.
See, here's my couple last ones for you, Gary. Here's my concern, and here's what Vic even said too. He goes, "This thing's going to be an all-day affair. I mean, this guy can play. He's versatile. Yeah. They spread you out. Yeah. The head coach is a great play caller." I mean, I look at Jordan Love, and I kind of see where Angelo is a little bit on this. Like, where's the advantage of covering even their tight end, who's not horrible? He's good. They've got a nice core of wide receivers. They spread the ball out. It's kind of a setup like Kansas City minus Travis Kelce and how they spread the ball out. Their back maybe a little bit with Josh Jacobs. But, I mean, I don't see where the advantage Philadelphia has defensively in corralling him unless, like you said, it's that defense that keeps everything under control and it's control and contain. Don't give up the big play. They're hoping for him to make a mistake in a 12-play drive or a 10-play drive.
And you got to have defensive linemen beating their man one-on-one.
Absolutely.
You got to have some wins. Now, have I seen that consistently? I can't say that I've seen it some, but they got to show up with that. I mean, they got to be getting some hits on him If he's back there comfortable and everything, then you know what? I'm going to be looking at the game like this. You know what I mean? So, but they got to get some licks on him. I want to see some guys winning their one-on-ones, man, because that's the one thing about that defense is you're going to get some one-on-ones, you know, and I know they're probably, you know who they're going to make sure that Jalen Carter, they're going to be trying to double him, you know, because he's the guy that we know can win the one-on-ones, but they need other guys. Come on. Why you bring these guys in there? I want to see somebody winning some one-on-one battles and getting to the quarterback, putting some licks on him. You know, if they don't get the sack, I want to put some licks on him.
Gary, I haven't said this in the first couple parts of the show, but I know some folks up there on that coaching staff for Green Bay. You know what they're running? A lot of stretch plays. I think they're going to try to run that stretch play that they ran against Dallas last year, which means that the two defensive tackles, they're going to try to wear them out and try to create space in the middle there because they don't believe the linebackers at the second level can make run-stopping plays. So they're doing a lot of stretch plays, and they didn't practice that in those organized practices because New England didn't run it. We don't run a stretch play. Now, we run kind of like a read option. That's kind of a variation of it a little bit. But Green Bay's going to run that stretch play at them come Friday, and that's how you wear out defensive linemen, especially big dudes.
You know, you make a good point. I mean, I was talking about rushing the passer. Now, if they're letting them run the ball on them, then we're asking for trouble because that's letting them control the game, long drives. You know, they got to show up, man. And you're right. I mean, I definitely could. I would go after those linebackers if that's who I think that that's the way that if I'm looking at this team, I'm going to find out these linebackers came to play. And so it's going to be a game which I don't think anybody's going to sleep well.
No, it's a 60-minute game. This is going to be – it's a turnover. This is going to come down to, as it always does, Gary, who makes the critical stop in turnovers here. And I got one last one here for you. Did you have a problem? Sirianni, he kind of confirmed it what Jalen said last week that his growth was a little bit halted by the fact that the organization and Kelsey was making all the line calls and all the protection calls. I mean, am I really supposed to sit here and think inside of 4 months, Gary, that a new center, a new coordinator, Jaylen Hurts got better in 4 months on picking blitzes up with all new personnel? I mean, I'm not even sure the tush push works.
Well,
sit here and think that because Green Bay's going to blitz him.
Oh, without a doubt. Now, I think that, I understand what he's saying. And, I mean, I think that Jalen, he wanted to be running things. He wants to run things. He knows there's more on his plate now. I think he wanted this. He wanted, to be running everything as the quarterback. So he's got what he wants. Now, he show us that you can handle it. That's basically what it is now. Is he going to get everything right? No, but hopefully he's got a good enough field. And now that's the kind of thing we're going to find out. How good of a field does he have of what they're doing? Now, one benefit that I saw in the way that they've been playing the game, with what I've seen throughout training camp is he's been getting the ball out of his hands. They have an offense set up that he can get the ball out of his hands if he wants. Maybe, hey, it's a 2-yard throw. Maybe it's a 5, 10, whatever. If he's getting the ball out of his hands, they're going to be all right. They're going to be all right. So that's why I like what they're in, meaning that I like the fact that Kellen Moore has got an offense like that where he can't get the ball out of his hands. So even if he's seeing blitz, even if they make a mistake, he's getting the ball out of his hands, all right, they're going to be all right. Maybe it's a 4-yard gain, 5-yard gain, but if he's getting the ball out of his hands, that means the blitz didn't get there. He got the ball out of his hands. I don't think he's going to be throwing many interceptions because these are conservative passes. And I think that if he does that, goes into the game the way he's been playing, which is I'm gonna be patient. I'm gonna take what they give me initially till I start looking downfield. If he plays the game like that, I think they'll be fine.
You think they win Friday?
I pick them. Yeah, I pick them, but I don't know what we're getting into. I don't think Green Bay knows because what kind of defense does Green Bay have? What kind of defense do the Eagles have? We're going to find out, but I don't think we know.
I don't either.
I think both offenses are good, but the defenses, I hear, Green Bay's changed a lot of things. Clearly, the Eagles have changed a lot of things. We are going to find out on Friday evening.
Absolutely, man. I actually can't wait because now rent's due. We're all ready to roll here, man.
Right. Hey, rent is due.
Hey, no more pontificating. Okay, here it is, man. I mean, look, we're gonna find out if he can read blitzes, if they can pick it up, the push work, they can run the ball, they can stop people, the corners are okay. We're gonna find all this out. I mean,
we are gonna, we are.
There's no more, breaking it down. This is it.
And I'll tell you, this is, all of the question marks. This is a lot of question marks going into a season. A lot of question marks. Normally, it's not this much if you figure you got a good team. And, that makes you take a breath,
Because, you look at that defense and you go, what is it? What is the defense? Because, look, you think the offense has an identity. Hey, one more thing here. Jaw said something on IP this morning. He said something about physicality. He's concerned that they don't have the physicality that they had, and they didn't show it in the second half of the season last year when they stopped running the ball, and they just didn't look very physical on both sides of the ball. Do you think that comes back here on at least the offensive side? Because I don't personally think they're very physical. Well, depends. If Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter show physicality in the middle, that'll be a sign that those guys are bringing physicality to it. We'll see if they can, like Vic said. But that offense, Gary, do you really think they're going to be and go back to being physical like they did in 22? Because Jaws questions it.
Yeah, that is a great
if you're throwing the ball, Gary, you got all those guys
throwing
the ball, that means they're going to throw. Do you think they throw the ball 35 times in that game on Friday?
I think so.
Well, then that's not physical football.
I would agree with you. And, everybody talks about, what a great job, their offensive line coaching. He is good, He does a great job, but
he does.
But we're gonna find out. That's those are question marks, and I think they're legitimate. And I know I didn't see them up against the defense where they go in there. They got the first string offensive line in there. They go out there and they pound the ball on somebody. I haven't seen them do that, but that's another question. So I think they're capable of it. But you're right. It's a mindset. See, it's a mindset. Now, I think with the 35 passes, it's a matter of how they get to those passes.
Yeah, if they're checkdowns, then it shows football IQ.
Yeah, but I know with with the offensive coordinator he has had
Kellen Moore.
what Kellen Moore what they say like when he was down in Dallas, he wasn't crazy about running the ball all the time.
Yeah, right.
But you know what? I can't say that I know for sure, but I'm going to be interested. And I'm going to be. I'm going to have my notebook out. You know what I mean? I'm going to be writing it down.
You think Barkley gets 20 carries in that game Friday?
Woo! I think it would be great if he did. But I say
20
no.
carries and 20 carries and 35 passes. Okay, I find that hard to believe that in 55 plays it's going to be those two dudes. No way, man. I think that guy maybe gets 12 carries in that ball game on Friday, and they're going to throw the ball a ton. You don't pay $61 million for two wide receivers to run the ball with Kenny Gainwell, do you?
No, no, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. That's why. I'm thinking I'm going to be going into this game. I don't think we really know what we're getting into, but I'm going to be excited about that. But I would hope that, man, if they're pounding that ball, man, you punch these guys right in the face, man, and run that ball down their throat. That would be a great, that attitude going in with some of that, man. They need to have that, and they got some boys up front. Big Landon Dickerson and those guys. They're ready for. I think they're ready for a fist fight. Let's go, man. Let's go.
Hey, I'm ready for it, Gary. Gary, should be interesting, man. I appreciate you doing this.
But I hope Angelo's not right. Angelo, no. We can't.
I asked him, I even gave him this. I go, do you want to amend it? And he goes like this. I go, how many wins? He goes, he's coming on Monday either to be sad about the loss or to eat crow. But he went like this. He thinks the Packers are winning big.
Woo!
He thinks that Jordan Love's going to throw for over 400 yards. And he went like this. Look, Gary. Gary, like this.
Hey, I tell you what. I've seen him saying some of these things, but
he goes like this. This pains me. 5 wins.
Hey, if Angelo is right, then I guess I'm gonna have to move out of here. Yeah, I'm gonna have to move out of here. If Angelo's right.
God.
I hope he's not, man. Hey, we can't let Angelo be right about that.
You know what? Everyone in here is like this. Sills, you sound like, I go, are you crazy? That means no one's going to care. That'd be horrible for my show if they got killed like that on Friday. Are you crazy?
No, hey, no, come on now. Wait a minute. You don't know Philly, do you? Man, the dogs are going to be out. Hey, if that would have happened, boy. Because people
Gary,
are going to
if the Packers beat the Eagles 45-10 on Friday, what will Monday be like?
Man, I am going to have to move out of here. You know, are you kidding me?
Oh
man,
my!
If they were to get their butts whooped like that, I tell you what, it's going to change my attitude because I'm going to be over there with the hounds, and just like them, I want a piece of meat. I want somebody's blood or something. Golly, if they were to get whooped like that, oh man.
Now on the other hand, what if they whip the Packers 45-3?
If they whoop them, you know, hey, great. Like I said, this team has got a lot of talent. You know,
see, I want one or the other. Gary, I want one or the other. I don't want anything in the middle.
Hey, if they get whooped like that, and you know what? It's just like they tell a guy when he's going in there, hey, button up your chin strap. That's what you better do. If they get whooped like that, man, I don't know if we're gonna make it through the season. If it gets like that,
I tell you, there's one concern I have about the players. There's a lot of them complaining about going to Brazil and playing. Now, don't get beat getting on the plane, okay? Everyone, right. Packers have to get on that plane too. Don't make that an issue. Get on the plane, do your 9-hour flight. We've all done those.
Now who? Somebody said that. Who said that?
Slay.
What?
Slay.
Man, Slay. That's not the kind of thing.
Devonta said no comment.
Hey, and especially a leader. Especially a leader. Man, you do not need to be saying that. We don't care nothing about no flight. Care nothing about no flight.
Slay put a video. Slay put a video out about it saying how he didn't want to go.
Look, forget that. That's nonsense, man. Come on. Especially a veteran guy. You can't be talking around your young players like that. Especially you can't have that attitude. We don't care about no stinking flight, man. Whole season is on the line, man. Yeah. Get all that nonsense.
He posted that too, and I posted it on my Twitter.
Shouldn't be saying stuff like that, man.
Yeah, he's like this. He goes, I told my family not to come. He goes, I told my family not to come. I'll be staying in the hotel. I mean, I don't get it. I don't want to go really, but I'm looking forward to the start.
Look, now, hey, man, we always had, you go on the road, man. Forget the road.
Yeah,
we're not going on there. We're not going down there on a vacation. Don't care nothing about that. This is your business. We don't care nothing about no flight, man. You shouldn't be talking that way around, especially these young players. That's the last thing. These kids haven't even shown they can play in the league. The last thing they need to hear is a veteran talking about some flight or going down to whatever. Look, you kids get your butt ready to play, man. You don't need a vet around there.
I was shocked. I was shocked that he would post something like that.
That's not,
that's a defeatist attitude before you even get on the plane.
You cannot do that. Like somebody crying about the stadium you're playing in and everything. Look, we don't have time to be crying, man. That's the other guys, are they crying? They're not crying. Look, you better get ready to play football.
He was crying about IVs. Yeah, JM's right. He was crying about the IV situation and luxury hotels. I mean,
dude.
Hey,
you know,
look, I posted it because I actually couldn't believe it either.
You got a young team, man. You do not need, well, really, you don't need anybody on the team talking like that. But you do not need your veteran players being a distraction to your young kids talking about the flight and going to whatever. Look, we got a game to play. This is our business. You know, our business is not practicing. See, that's not really the business. The business happens in them 60 minutes during the game, because that's when they decide whether people continue to play or you need to maybe go find another profession. You don't be talking like that. That's a veteran player talking like that, man. They should not be talking like that, because we don't care nothing about how long the flight is. Green Bay's taking the same flight. Okay?
Absolutely embrace it. Like some of the folks in here are saying, you got to embrace that shit, man, and go play.
Let's get ready. The whole talk should be, we put in all this work, and now we're getting ready to get into what
even if you're lying. We got, I'm looking forward to the opportunity. Let's go play a ball game. Hey, man, Gary, how many times did you get in a flight where you had a flight on to Tampa when you played in the NFC North and you had to go back and forth like that? Now, that flight's not 9 hours, but it's a pain in the ass to go back and forth from Detroit to Tampa or fly to Seattle or some shit like that.
When I was taking those flights, if I heard one of the young kids over here talking, look, dude, button up your chin strap and shut your mouth, okay? Get ready to play. I want to hear that nonsense about the flight and all that. This is a business trip. That's why it's not going down there to meet Joey, meet whoever. Forget that, man. We're going down here to win the game, you know? And that's what it's about. And this whole season, the first game of the season, we got to be focused on Green Bay and beating Green Bay and winning the game. I don't care nothing about no flight. I don't care what we're playing on. You can't get that because, you know, you got young guys who have enough trouble remembering their assignments. And they're over here. If I caught one of them over there talking, I don't know if I want to go either. You know what? Maybe we'll leave you behind here then.
Anyway, Gary, what people don't realize, those chartered planes that the players are on, okay, there's 50 dudes that are on that plane. They'll probably take 2 planes. You get a whole aisle to yourself. You get to sleep in there. You get to do whatever. They're chartered planes. You're not sitting there with folks in there. You got kind of space in there. Get your food. Do whatever. Get yourself prepared, man. Mental preparation for this thing.
And see, you know, you get around the NFL, you see the good teams. It's business, man.
Yeah.
The veteran players do not, on a good team, veteran players will take care of a kid, make sure, look, you better know what you're doing because this is our team, okay? And you know, maybe you did that in college. You're not doing that here. You better know what you're doing, or we're gonna be putting our foot up your behind.
Gary, let me give you this last thing here. I'll tell you what used to always aggravate me about the Hurricanes. Every time we would go and play in the cold, the first thing that some of them Floridian kids, and you know them Florida guys, some of them guys never been north of
that's right
the state line.
Come on, I went through that at USC.
And when they go to the cold, like when you guys went up to Oregon and shit, or Washington, and places like that, and some of the California guys have only lived in Southern California, first thing out of their mouths, hey man, I've never seen snow. I'm like,
it's
cold.
Cold,
get your hush puppies ready.
That's right. and that's the way. Hey, and that's the way we say, hey man, look, we don't care if it's a blizzard, whatever. Man, we got to fight up here, you know. And if you got in a fight, you're gonna stand there. Well, look at the weather. Why the dude is whooping your behind? Come on, no man. So I tell the boys, hey, get ready to play. I don't care how long the flight is. Get ready to play football, and you better be coming with your fist balled up because I think Green Bay's gonna show up ready to play. So,
oh yeah, this is gonna be a good one, Gary. Gary, I appreciate it, my friend.
All right,
Thank
buddy.
you.
All righty.
You got it. Rent is due on Friday, man. Just like Gary Cobb said here. Guys, do me a favor. Hit the like button. Xander's going to join us on the other side. I've got my bold predictions coming up. You hear what he said? Man, if this thing and Angelo is right with 5 wins, they'll light the city on fire. They'll light the city on fire. Where are we on the like list right now? Tell us, guys. Tell me where we are on the like list here. Please hit that like button. You guys have been great today. You guys have been great really for the last 3 weeks here. So appreciate you guys so much, man. 200, man. All right, guys. let's try to see if we can hit 100. I'd like to get 100 likes here in the final hour. Xander's going to join us on the other side. I've got my bold predictions, plus what Angelo said. I'd be interested to hear what Xander has to say. Hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
He's blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid.
as long as you face the fear.
And keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
Heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood day.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
Imagine for a moment that you went to work today and when you came home, you were catastrophically injured. Your life and your family's life. That's what happened to union construction worker Mike Little.
I was scared of what the end was going to be, but to be 100% honest with you, I knew I was going to be all right just by talking with Brian. In my heart, I just knew everything was going to be all right.
Call the firm and find out why they say, we got this. Call 215-458-2222.
Michael Vick at BetUS.com. Catch an incredible 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, plus 10% gambler's insurance. BetUS, my online sportsbook and casino.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Truth, justice, and the Big Sills way. Hit that like button. By the way, we keep you updated on all stories because no one else has the brass cojones to do it. Our sources, check this out. On that ridiculous story that's going around Philadelphia right now with those ads that the Eagles have denied, turns out they lied. Director of Team Relations for the Eagles actively campaigned for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and assisted with Democratic Party GOTV and mail-in ballot drops. They've uncovered social media posts from Christian Molnar, the Director of Team Relations for the Eagles, that show he's very active in the Democratic Party in Philadelphia. Christian posts revealed that he was active near the mail drops during the 2020 election. His ex-bio says he's been involved in marketing for the Eagles for 25 years. He deleted this post, but others have been posting it out, including people in the media now, this morning after exposed the fact that he called the Harris campaign and they approved the ads. Even though the team is claiming they are counterfeit, he was defensive when people wanted the ads removed, and now the NFL football team is in full damage control. It's looking like the Eagles lied about the pro-Kamala Harris ads being counterfeit. As been exposed, the Eagles are very connected with the Harris campaign, and they're even with their website qualifying people to vote through their website. The Eagles are even using their brand to register Philadelphians and Pennsylvanians on their official site to vote. Christian Molnar went rogue, or did he go rogue, by approving these ads that are being put all over Philadelphia, and you can see them. They're all over the city right now. And this guy is now being exposed as a guy who works for the Philadelphia Eagles for 25 years in the marketing department. And now the team is in full vogue going, they're rogue. How can it be rogue when you got a guy that's working for you for almost 30 years? The guy that approved them and got the Harris campaign to say, okay. Again, at the end of the day, folks, I'm not telling you who to vote for. My problem is this. You're a football team that are trying to bring people together. It's a community team. That's all I'm saying. Okay? Once again, not sitting here telling you who to vote for or anything else like that. I'm just sitting there saying, look at how the Eagles try to control the environment and the media. This is my take. I don't really give a shit about this story. The only part of it that I care about is the PR czar, Bob Lang, and how he tries to control everybody in that city. That's where I'm at with it. All right. Angelo Cataldi. Look at this. Oh, my God. Do you know how polar opposite this next guest is to what Angelo predicted? So Angelo texts me and goes, Sills, you want me on every Monday? I said, Angelo, why would you ask such a ridiculous thing? Of course we want you on every Monday. So every Monday moving forward with the football season, Angelo Cataldi, one of the most listened to people in Philadelphia sports history, is going to be on the only place you can hear him. You know where? JAKIB Sports. Oh, yeah, the Big Ben JAKIB. He's got Angelo and Big Sills. But without further ado, one of the greatest Eagle fans that we have. He is the co-host of Birds 365, my friend, Xander Kraus. Xander, how you doing, brother?
What up, Big Sills? How you doing, brother?
Hands up. Look at him warming his hands up. 5 wins, dude.
Blasphemy.
5 wins.
Come on, man. This team's not a 5-win football team. This team's not a 9-win football team. This team is 10 plus or bust, and I have them at 13, closer to 14.
So you're even moving the stick closer to 14.
Well, last week I upped it because I don't think the Commanders get a win versus us. I do think that opening game is a tough one. I've had them losing it since the jump, but this is a good football team, Dan. I think this team wins a lot more games than Angelo's projecting. I think you guys are putting a little bit too much stock in how bad you think this defense is. I don't think they're that bad. I mean, I think they're bad, but we won 11 games last year with the 31st ranked defense in the league.
And you had Reddick and you had Cox and you stunk. And now you don't have them guys, and now you're thinking you're better.
All right, well, we got a better coordinator.
Hey, just because I have a better teacher doesn't mean I have a better student.
Well, no, that's not the point. But sometimes
It's
the better
totally
sometimes the
point.
better teacher gets more out of a worse student when they know how to play that student's strengths. You're talking to a guy who barely got through college and high school. I know that better than anybody, that good teachers resonate. So
I'm right there with you.
yeah. So, look, let's see on this defense. I hear what you're saying. I get it. I wear eagle glasses when it comes to, just assuming they're going to be good. But to say this team is going to win 5 games is I think crazy, in my opinion.
5 games.
I welcome it. I welcome the opinion here on JAKIB Sports. I appreciate Angelo's contributions, but I ain't drinking that Kool-Aid. No way.
I'm not going. I don't know. I don't see 5 there as well. But let me ask you before I get into my Big Sills bold predictions for 2024 and the Eagles and the final one of the year preseason wise as we get ready for the season. What do you make of Vic saying this? Hey, Vic, what do you make of? Do you think your defensive tackles are in shape? He goes, I don't know. We're going to find out Friday. Don't you think that's a shot at the organization for not playing those guys more in exhibition football?
You could take it as that, but I just think he doesn't put stock in the offseason. Like Gary Cobb just said, he's an old school guy, man. We don't play a game. We don't make money for the offseason. We make money for the 60 minutes that's going to happen on Friday night. That's when your money is made. And I think Vic Fangio has an old school approach, and that's what he believes. And I'm perfectly good with that because we are going to see. That's when you're going to see. Even if they played a series in preseason, what would that have told you? If they played a quarter in preseason, what would that have told you? Nothing. We need
but you would at least got these young guys reps.
Okay, but that wouldn't have told you anything about the conditioning of them.
No, but you at least get them. Don't you think you get ready the more you swim?
Oh, yeah, but the question
if you're going to swim in a meet,
the question was about the conditioning. The question was about the conditioning.
Okay.
You're not going to find that out in the preseason, no matter how many reps they played in that game. So I'm good with that answer.
Let's ask this one then. So on September 3rd, you're cool with the coach and the defensive coordinator saying, hey, your linebackers. He goes, no, the linebacking core is not settled yet. We really don't know yet about our backers. It's not settled. And he goes, it will be a revolving change. Are you cool with that going into a Packer game 3 days from now?
Well, I think they have an idea of what they're going to do. But look, as you've pointed out all summer long, we got a lot of question marks there, man. You're hoping Devin White can be better. You're hoping that Kobe Dean can play up to par. You're hoping that Zach Bond has any idea how to play off-ball linebacker. These are all things that we do not know. So I think they're going to kind of rotate him around a little bit and see who they like or see who steps up. Sometimes that's what players need to do is go and earn the job. And I don't love it, right? You're coming into a season and you're telling me you don't know who your linebackers are, but I think it's brutally honest is what I think, because I think everybody knows that this linebacker core is the weak part of this team. And it's clear that they know that too. They just said it in a little bit of a nicer way.
I'll tell you what I did like, and I thought this was a main compliment. He was asked a question about Quinyon Mitchell, and he said this. No, he's a good player, and he's had a really good camp. And what you really liked about him was every position that we put him in, he's excelled, and he's had a really good camp, whether it's a nickel slot or putting him at the corner position. You could tell he really likes the player. And Xander, do you buy my take? This is an opinion now, what I'm saying about him. I don't think they want him to beat Isaiah Rodgers out. I think they want him to eventually replace Slay, because what's the point of not having another good young corner when that corner is going to be there longer than Slay's going to? This is Slay's last year. He's not.
Yeah, but what's better preparation for taking over for Slay? Playing on the other outside or playing nickel corner? I think it's the other outside. I think you're right.
It's getting on the field.
I think Quinyon is the replacement for Slay. I think that's a good point. But I don't think they're trying to get him at nickel corner. I think they're trying to get him on the field. Those other guys can't play nickel like he can. So
I don't believe they have the versatility like he has.
Right. So they're trying to get their three best guys on the field, ASAP. And look, if you're going to take Vic Fangio at face value for the comments on Bryce Huff, for the comments on Jordan and Jalen, for the comments on Cooper DeJean, for all those comments, I'm going to take him at face value on what he says about Quinyon Mitchell.
Yep.
If Vic Fangio is not concerned about him as a guy who's coached defense for 40 years in this league, I'm not concerned about Quinyon Mitchell. Now, I do agree with John that I'd like to see him on the outside, but I'm okay with the way they're doing it. Let's see what happens when Cooper DeJean gets back. I got more question marks on him than a lot of guys on this defense, but Quinyon Mitchell, I feel great about Quinyon Mitchell because Vic Fangio feels great about him, and he's been brutally honest on everything else. So I think we can take him at his word, at least until he proves otherwise.
Can I show you why he's a good coach here with this?
Yeah, hit me.
Don't you think it would have been in the best interest of Nakobe Dean to matriculate him into the linebacker position by like the way they coach Seth? They put him at weak side linebacker. They put him at will. And before you knew it, he picked up the game. He got a ton of reps. Then he moved back into inside. And before you know it, what happened was the reps helped him be able to understand and see the game to a point where he went to his natural position of playing inside. Isn't that what Fangio's kind of doing here with Quinyon Mitchell, getting him on the field, putting him in the nickel, putting him in the slot, and he's eventually going to matriculate himself? What he's doing is he's not force-feeding him by putting him out there, lining up in week one and play one versus a quarterback who's going to look at him and target him right away. You're going to eventually get him over there. but you don't have to rush to get him over there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I thought they
no,
should
I
have
see what
did
you're
that to
saying.
Nakobe.
Yeah, I agree with I agree with the Nakobe point. I do wonder if they're slightly different positions, but just to add to the Quinyon take, I wonder if it is a good thing. As much as I'd like to see him on the outside, like think a couple years from now, think 3 years from now, when Quinyon Mitchell is hopefully your leader of the secondary. Now you're talking about a guy that not only understands the defense, but he's played in all of the positions where he could play, and it's like when you have a leader, right? And you want your leader or a CEO. You want your CEO to have done every job in the company before he becomes a CEO, or is willing to do every job. I wonder if that will help Quinyon in the future, not only be a leader on the field, but understand where to get his guys lined up, understand how to navigate as a leader on the field. So I think there's a positive aspect for Quinyon in that regard. But on Nakobe Dean, I don't know what they're doing with him. I think we forget he missed all last year with an injury. So that's, he wasn't able to be on the field. So I don't really know. John's
How do
high
you
on
assume that he's a starter?
I
Not
don't
you.
know.
How do they assume?
John says at practice he looks the best of all the linebackers. So maybe it's just a talent thing. Maybe he just has more raw talent and he has to now put it on the field. But I don't know, man. I'm not overly high on Nakobe Dean just because I haven't seen much. I'm not going to write him off yet because he's played 4 or 5 games in his career. It's not like he's been out there and given us a big sample size. Now, having an injury, availability is an ability. So if you can't stay healthy, that's another problem. But I can't write him off yet, but I don't really fully entirely understand what they're trying to do at linebacker. I really don't. I don't think they have the guys in the room, dude. That's what I think it comes down to. I think they're trying to make cake out of shitty baking powder, or however you want to phrase it. I don't think they have what they need to get the best linebacking core.
Chicken salad out of chicken shit. Absolutely.
Exactly. That's a better phrase for it. Yep.
No question here. All right, let me throw this at you here. It's funny when you hear Nick talk. He was talking today, and I heard him. I'll tell you what, he's the greatest word salad interviewer of all time. I mean, this guy will say just a ton of nothing. And he said this when asked a point-blank question about him not being involved in the offensive game planning. He said that he can pop in, go here, go there. He can go see Howie. He doesn't have to. He's not beholden to the. And I'm like, okay, should we care about that anymore? I mean, should the reporters even ask that question any longer? Because we know the answer, Xander. Like you said, what's the point in continuing that now when you're going down a lane that really we know the answer to? I mean,
yeah, but it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter anymore, does it?
No, it does, and then they should still ask the question, because if this thing comes off the rails, or if this thing doesn't work as it's projected, Nick Sirianni is going to be the guy on the outs. And they've already set this up, and we talked about this last week, as him being the scapegoat of this team if it fails. And it might not even be the coordinators. It might be Nick, So I think it's fair to continue to ask the questions. If Nick doesn't want to put it out there, well, shit, that's on him for protecting an organization that probably has no interest in protecting him. So I have no problem with the questions. It is interesting. The answers, though, I don't understand what the guy, you said it earlier. I don't know if it was with Angelo. I think you were just responding to somebody in the chat. By the way, I appreciate that. Good to see everybody in the chat today. I think you said it's not about Jalen playing for himself or Jalen going, and they told him, we're going to give you a new coordinator, a new quarterbacks coach, and you're not going to have to talk to Nick anymore. Yeah. And that kind of,
I think that was the compromise, Xander.
Right. I think that makes sense. That compromise makes sense. And if it doesn't work, it's going to be ugly, but maybe it works. I mean, look, I've said all summer, I like Kellen Moore.
There's more pressure on Jalen now that he got his way. Because get this, last year, Nick got his way by elevating Brian, and it was a train wreck. Let me tell you something.
I know. Xander, I don't think there's pressure on Jalen, though.
Xander, if that guy can't pick blitzes up and those two guys can't figure that shit out, and they're getting pressure and they get rolled in that game on Friday, and I'm not saying they are. I think it's a high-scoring, close game, and I think it comes down to last possession. Whoever has the ball wins the game. I think that's how
this week. That's what you think.
I think that's going to be a last possession game, and it's going to.
I'm a little scared. I'm a little scared that Angelo could be right about this game specifically, not the 400 passing yards, but I think we're underestimating a little bit this Green Bay team. I really do. I think Gutekunst is a good GM. I think Jordan Love is a great quarterback. I'm hopeful that this game is going to go the Eagles' way, but I've been weary about this game since the schedule came out. Even when I predicted a 13-4 team, I predicted the Eagles losing this game just because I don't like the setup for the Eagles.
Yeah.
I don't like losing a game at the Link. I don't like going down to Sao Paulo as the home team, and I don't like everybody all off season talking about how great you are. And then the Packers, who have flown under the radar all off season, who were up and coming last off season, they got nothing to lose. And you brought it up earlier. They haven't cried about the stadium. They haven't cried about Brazil. The only thing the coach said is, "I'm trying to figure out my right guard." That's basically it. So I'm like, I don't know. I think it's advantage Packers when you take all the factors of like roster and stuff out. I think all the external factors of this game is an advantage for the Packers. I hope the Eagles can come out swinging and win, but with that defense, I'm a little worried that Jordan Love has his way with them. I am. I mean, remember, you're talking about a guy who diced the Cowboys last year for 48 or 49 points, whatever it was, in the playoffs. I mean, this guy can play. He's a good quarterback.
And that's a good play caller.
Better guys now in that room. Now, I do think John's right about that running game. I think it got worse when you get rid of Aaron Jones. He was a dynamic player. I think
Josh Jacobs is better.
Josh Jacobs is a runner, though. He's not going to give you that
versatility
extra
catching out of the backfield.
Exactly.
Yeah, yep. So he's not that guy.
And Jordan Love made good use of that. So we're going to see, but I do think this is a tough game for the Packers. Look, I think this Eagles team is going to be great. I think this opening week on a Friday night in Brazil, losing a game at the Link versus a potential NFC contender late in the year, I don't like it. I don't like it for this team. I really don't. So we're going to see how it goes, but I do think this is going to be a tough game. It's going to be an uphill battle for this Eagles team, no doubt.
Do you put any weight into what Gary Cobb said about what Darius Slay? And I posted it on my Twitter.
Yeah, Gary Cobb was spot on.
I mean, he was bitching about the trip, and completely there was bitching about the food, bitching about the requirements that
everything.
You have to have it, food and all that, the travel, the 9 hours. He complained about it all, and I posted it, and I was like this, damn, just go play the fucking game, dude.
I know, man. And Gary Cobb was spot on with his take on this. He was spot on with, shut up, man. You don't want to be a leader on this team saying that crap. Get ready to play. I don't care if we're in Brazil or Jupiter. Go get ready to play. That's what you should be saying. And the fact that he's doing that publicly on his podcast, I don't think it's a great look. But at the end of the day, none of that shit's going to matter. When the lights are on and that ball gets kicked off, we're going to know real quick who the hell showed up to play. It's either going to be the Packers or it's going to be the Eagles. And we're going to find out. So hopefully the Eagles come ready. Hopefully the Jalen comes ready and that offense comes ready. I think it's going to be a shootout, man. If I'm on BetUS before this game, I'm taking the over. I'm taking the over on passing yards for both quarterbacks.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's going to be an air raid. A lot of yards, a lot of points.
You could see 8 touchdown passes between both guys.
Yeah, well, we'll see about that, but I think it's going to be a high scoring ball game with a lot of offense.
Let me put this to bed here. Finally, here, what'd you make of Nick Sirianni confirming what Jalen said was true about Jason Kelce, and how the whole conversation about the stunting in a way, and that's my word, the stunting in the way of being able to pick up blitzes and all that Jalen was right. Jalen was right in what he said. And just put it to bed here a little bit. I mean, it's just really a weird way of going about trying to come up with a way to blame. And it's like organizationally, they're not going after. That's not fair. They're not going after Kelce, but it's almost like a hanging excuse. You know what I'm saying, Xander? It's like, why? What's the point now on September 3rd? You're still talking about that. And you got a game 4 days from now. You know what I'm saying? The whole thing just doesn't make any sense to bring it up. He didn't like when people were bringing up the Wink Martindale comments in a presser, the previous presser. And all of a sudden now he brings this up and you're like, damn, dude. That's 10 months ago.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you make of it?
I think it's either going to matter a lot.
You think it's dead now?
Well, if they win, if they come out hot and they win ball games and they answer the bell, it's a nothing burger.
Yep.
But if this thing falls off the rails, like we've said, all of these things will be rehashed, rediscussed, re-talked about, and become a thing. So it's fair for it to be discussed. But look, go out there and win games, and none of that shit matters. That's what it comes down to. By the way, I want to thank our guy Bleed Green. Love that, man. Bleed Green says, long day of work today, Big Sills. At least I got you guys for the ride home. Appreciate you, Bleed Green, the working men and women of this country. Keep it moving. So good for you, man. Thanks for being here this afternoon.
All right. Do you have a couple of these, my Big Sills bold predictions?
Yeah, hit me, brother. I only got a couple minutes.
Here we go. I got A.J. Brown with 15 touchdowns this year.
Ooh, that's a good bold prediction. I like that. I will agree with that. I've said A.J. Brown has a big year. Good prediction, Sills. I like that one.
But I do think that Devonta has more receiving yards.
I think that's possible because remember, A.J. Brown's going to attract a lot of attention from defenses. You know, you are at a point with a pick your poison on covering this Eagles offense, right? Who do we want to take away? Because they got a lot of guys. You can't take them all away. So I think teams are going to choose to be beaten by Saquon, Devonta, and the other guys over A.J. Brown. So I think that's a good take. And then A.J. gets the bulk of the load in the red zone where he's got the big body. He can out-muscle guys and just simply out-physical them. So I think you have a good projection there. And I don't dislike Devonta out getting more yards than him. Devonta is a first-class receiver in this league. So it's not crazy to say he's capable of 1,500-plus yards. It's not. So
I think it was an absolutely ridiculous comment by Sirianni to go, well, the other guys got votes. If there's not a guy on that football team that represents leadership and being accountable and professionalism, you break the rules and you give him a captaincy. Not that it doesn't matter to him, but you know what? It's a perception thing, dude. I mean, you look at it, and when he says this, well, Devonta didn't get enough votes. I think people are starting to take him for granted. I think you look at his professionalism and who he is. You know, sometimes you take greatness for granted. And you look at a guy's character and you take that shit for granted. Dude, don't take that guy for granted because he embodies everything you want to have as a player.
Yeah, and they put, look, I get it. They do a team vote or whatever, but you're telling me, look.
Really, seriously.
I like Jake Elliott, but you're telling me you put the kicker as a captain over a guy who's a premier wide receiver in the NFL, who you just give the contract to, who, as you mentioned, is a consummate pro, who does all his business the right way. I don't know. I guess it's a vote, so it's not really, it doesn't really come down to that. But if I had it my way, Devonta Smith would be a captain on this team. And you know what? People aren't going to like this. I wouldn't have Darius Slay as a captain on my football team. I think Darius Slay is a great player. I think he's done unbelievable things in this league. I think he has a chance to be a Hall of Famer one day. I do not think he's a captain of a football team. I think that merits a different type of player. I think that merits a player that, as you point out, is a professional, knows how to lead men, knows how to put their work first. And I wouldn't have Slay. Look, I'm not trying to criticize Slay for everybody who's going to jump on me. I'm just saying when you're talking about seven captains, you got 7 guys. Slay's not one of my 7. That's all.
No way.
Neither is Jake Elliott.
When I think of leadership, I don't think of Darius Slay.
Yeah,
I think of A.J. Brown more than him.
A.J. Brown is a leader. Look, I know you have your things with him, but
again, it's a lot of fun stuff. But at the end of the day,
he is, man. He's a leader. He really is. He took he takes accountability in that locker room. He stands and faces the music. He holds people accountable, and he matches it on the field. He plays with his heart on his sleeve. And I love that about A.J. Brown. So I would 100% make A.J. Brown a captain. And I think Devonta Smith is right there too. I would put Devonta in there.
2 last ones here for you. I don't want to keep you any longer here. Jaws said something on WIP today that kind of perked me up a little bit here when it came to this. I wonder if the Eagles are going to be physical. And I was like, Jesus, okay, what does that mean? Are they going to be physical? Because last year they got away from physicalities.
Yeah, they did.
Okay. Do you think, because if they don't run the ball 20 times with Saquon Barkley, that's a finesse team. If they throw the ball 35 or more times, that's a finesse team. So will they get back to being physical? Because you don't pay $61 million to run the ball and give the ball to Kenny Gainwell. The question will be, Will they get back to being physical and buck the trends and go, we got an O-line, we got a premier back, let's go win these games. It's game 1 of the season. Let's soften up Green Bay. They kind of weren't good against the run. Or are you really going to play into the teeth of the tiger and throw the ball 40 times?
Yeah, that's a tough one. It really is. It's a tough one because,
if you throw the ball 40 times against the Packers, you'll lose big.
I'd have to agree with that because you're not going to control the clock that way. And Green Bay you're getting into an air raid type of game. And I don't think you want to do that with Jordan Love. But no, it's tough to respond to that because I think I agree with your take in that you want to be physical, but I don't think that's what the organization wants this team to do.
You keep other opponents close when you.
I will say, though, as much as Kellen Moore spreads that ball around and loves the air raid, he does have a good balanced attack with the run. At least he did in Dallas. So with the backs we have, I would hope that they bring that out of him. But I don't know. You know, John keeps saying a lot of these yards for Barkley are going to come closing out games, and they're going to try and build this lead up, through the air. And, I more see it an old school way where I like to run the ball, beat your opponent to a pulp, and then open up the play action, open up the passing game, because you're forcing the ball down their throat with your dominant offensive line and your skilled running back. But it doesn't seem like that's going to be their approach, or at least that's what I'm told from John, who take it at face value, or take it for however you will. But he's normally pretty right about that stuff. He covers the team up close and personal. So I don't know. We'll see what they do, man. I hope they're physical too, but and if they're not, it better work. It better work.
Xander, here's again another case of getting away from 22. You weren't physical throwing the ball in 22. You were physical in setting up the pass with the run and dominating and finishing off teams in the first half.
I know. You're right.
If you think now what they're saying and John's saying is they're going to throw the ball to loosen teams up. That's a finesse team. That's not a physical team.
I know. No, you're right. You're 100% right. And maybe that's why Jaws is saying the same thing as John, and he just wanted to say it in a more closed off, in a more, subdued way, a type of read between the lines type of way where he said what he said. And it's interesting what he says, but look, we'll see. We're only 3 days out, Big Sills. In fact, what are we, 72 hours from this thing? Are we 75 hours from this game being underway, baby? Oh my goodness.
Dude, we're like, here we are. We're like hours away from that Thursday game when we're talking.
How good is that game going to be?
Baltimore. Lamar's got to win that game. That he has to win that game.
Yeah, I heard some people saying, we talked about that on the show this morning, like Lamar needs to beat. No, he doesn't. Because
Mahomes doesn't need it. Mahomes is gauging the postseason.
Neither of them
need it. He's got to win that game. He's got to.
I mean, you want to win it, but neither of them need it. You need to win when it matters most. Mahomes.
I want him to beat him if I'm on that Ravens
Mahomes lost
team.
to the Eagles last year, though.
What?
Mahomes lost to the Eagles last year.
But it didn't matter. He's at a different level now. He's not gauged any longer in the regular.
Okay, see, so Keith says, Keith, appreciate you being here, brother. He says he's 0-3 against Patrick and the Chiefs. Yeah, I mean, I guess it matters, but I'd much rather him be 0-4 versus the Chiefs with a playoff win versus the Chiefs than 1-3 versus the Chiefs and then lose when the lights get brighter. But I hear you, Keith. I understand why people are saying he needs this win. So we'll see. I do think the Ravens have a better roster than the Chiefs, but that Chiefs team is scary, man. And by the way, Andy Reid, when he's got time, he's tough to beat. So we'll see what ends up happening in that one.
All right, finally here. I've upped it 100 yards. Here is my prediction for Jaylen Hurts. I've upped it 100 yards.
A measly 100.
3,750. 25 touchdown passes. 600 yards rushing. And 10 touchdowns rushing. It's a total of 35 total touchdowns and a little over 4,400 yards in total offense.
What's their record?
9-7.
9-7. There's 17 games, jerk off.
Okay, that's right. I forgot. They're 10-7. Oh, wait. They're 9-8.
9-8.
They're not winning 10 games.
Well, we got a problem with those stats then. But if
Wait,
he's got those stats, I don't care about stats like you. I've already projected. I believe Jalen Hurts has his biggest year ever passing the football for this team. But at the end of the day, I really don't care. If we're 13-4 and Jalen has 3,300 yards passing, I could give two shits. Go out there, manage the game, win the game, and take each game. Every game has a different identity, has a different feel to it, has a different way to play to win. Jalen's been pretty good at answering the bell depending on what's needed for each game. He's been good in his wins in this league. So I don't really care about the stats, but I'm going to say over on basically everything you said. 3,600, no way. He's going to bust 4K. 25 passing touchdowns. I got closer 28 to 30, somewhere in that range. I think he's got a better year throwing the ball. I like your rushing predictions. I'm going to say they come down a little bit. I think 400 or 500 yards rushing with about 6-7 touchdowns on the ground, because I don't think the tush push is going to be as prominent. I think he had 8 or 9 tush push.
So you think he's going to have 5,000 total yards this season?
Well, I got him 4K plus 500 yards in the air. So 500 yards on the ground. So I got him. Yeah. I mean, I think close.
To 5,000 total yards and 38 touchdowns for almost 40 TDs.
Well, he had 38 touchdowns last year.
Okay. I mean,
38 touchdowns last year. Did you forget that?
Isn't it funny that the guy had 3,700 or 3,800 yards in a year where he won 14 ball games? And you're trying to tell me this year he's going to win 14 games and he's going to throw 4,400 yards, 30 touchdowns. Oh, wait. Who do you think this guy is?
MVP. MVP.
And he wins the MVP, right? He wins the MVP.
That's what I think.
You think he wins the MVP?
Well, no, here's my projection. If they, and this is crazy talk, by the way. We're September 3rd. Everybody makes projections on the season. So if my projections come true, Jalen Hurts will, without a doubt, be the MVP. Without a shred of a doubt, he will be the MVP. Now, if they don't, maybe he won't. But at the end of the day, I don't really care about that either, because MVP is not a trophy we lift in Philly and doesn't get us a parade on Broad Street. Ask Lamar Jackson about MVPs and what they got him, other than a big contract. So I'd much rather get a Super Bowl than an MVP. But I do believe Jalen has his biggest year ever as a pro with Kellen Moore. I think he's going to have it's going to be fun to watch this year.
5 wins. Angelo.
5 wins is crazy.
5 wins, Angelo. By the way, I got to give it to Angie. Angie's good. He said this: I'll eat humble pie Monday, or we'll all cry on Monday.
I'm going to come on with a big pot of crow stew, and I'm going to start serving it up on the show.
Oh, I've got a good prediction on Friday for this thing. Oh no, Thursday I got to do it, because Friday, no, I'll be able to do a pregame kind of in a way for that stuff too. Oh yeah. Plus we got some good news coming up, I believe, here soon.
Yeah, big sales.
Yeah, we got some good news coming up here, folks. Holy cow.
I think Big Sills is going to be
eating crow.
I think he's going to be eating a lot of crow. I think he's going to be eating more than one dose of crow. I think he's going to be getting seconds and thirds and fourths. It's going to be like Fogo de Chao when you live. What's that little restaurant where you turn the thing over and the food just starts delivering? They're just going to be delivering the plates of crow to Big Sills all season long, baby.
I think I'm like, what's that guy that eats the hot dogs?
Yeah, he set another record yesterday or something.
I saw that, dude. I saw that guy. He did it on Netflix.
What's that guy's name?
Jimmy. What's his name? Chesswood or
Joey Chestnut. That's what it is.
Yeah, Joey Chestnut. Joey Chestnut. Oh wow, the Eagles brought back fucking Jack Driscoll.
Yeah, good. Put him on the bench. Hopefully, he doesn't get any time.
Let me get. What is that? Possum pie? Could get what are you talking about, man? Hey, listen, I hate to do this to you, Xander, on the way out. I just have to say this. I hope they win, because boy, I don't want to, this is where you say you don't want to be right, but oh boy, do I see 45-17.
40.
I see 45-17 Packers. I don't know why.
If the Packers win this game 45-17, forget the talk about the camel ads. They'll be burnt to they'll be burnt to charcoal, dude.
Those things will be used as a bonfire.
Exactly. They will be, the whole city will be a bonfire. So forget to talk about those. If they lose this game 45-17, it's lights out. They're gonna people are not gonna be happy, but we'll see. Look, I don't think it's gonna be that bad, but like I said, I think this team's gonna be great. I'm concerned about this week 1 game, man. So we'll see how it plays out, but I do have my doubts on this week 1 game specifically.
As we roll out of here, I have a problem with that Slay comment too. We'll probably talk a little more about that as the week goes on too. Xander, great stuff. Thank you so much, my friend.
Appreciate you, Sills. Everybody in the chat, love you guys. Appreciate all of you guys for the support of the channel. Appreciate all y'all. Sills, see you, man.
You got it, brother. Don't forget to catch Xander in the morning at Birds 365, as those guys do such a great job at covering the Birds. They had a big show today. We appreciate you guys so much. Thank you guys again. Please hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
He's blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid.
as long as you face the fear.
And keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
Heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood day.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
Imagine for a moment that you went to work today and when you came home, you were catastrophically injured. Your life and your family's life. That's what happened to union construction worker Mike Little.
I was scared of what the end was going to be, but to be 100% honest with you, I knew I was going to be all right just by talking with Brian. In my heart, I just knew everything was going to be all right.
Call the firm and find out why they say, "We got this." Call 215-458-2222.
Michael Vick at BetUS.com. Catch an incredible 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, plus 10% gambler's insurance. BetUS, my online sportsbook and casino.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Sales National Football Show. We so appreciate you guys today. By the way, where are we on the like list here? Guys did a great job today. We so appreciate it. Going to get closer to Friday. I think we got some pretty good news coming up here for you too. Okay, I do. I think we got some pretty good news coming up here. So, guys, give us a breakdown here. Where are we right now on the like list? I appreciate it too, by the way. Thank you, guys. I'm going to do something here, and I'm going to give you guys my top 10. 240. Okay. Cool. Thank you guys very much. I put down and I voted. Here's my ballot. Want you guys to know. Hey, Twiz, everyone. this show has a top 25 ballot. Okay. So we vote on college football. And here are my top 10 teams. I put Georgia number 1, Ohio State 2, Texas 3, Alabama 4, Oregon 5, Ole Miss 6, University of Miami 7, Notre Dame 8, Penn State 9, and Michigan 10. Those are my 10 teams that I have. My top 10. Yeah, those are my top 10 teams. Now, what'd you think there? Big Sills doesn't get the vote? I vote on everything college football, including the Heisman Trophy. Okay, so we appreciate that. All right, I do want to hit on some of the things that Jaylen Hurts said. I thought they were pretty telling. I didn't put USC in the top 10. No, I didn't put them in the top 10. They're not a top 10 team. What, because they beat a LSU team that's kind of decent? Miami was ranked higher. Where was Miami? I think Miami was 17th. Plus, Miami was playing in a rivalry game against Florida. Okay. What do I have USC ranked? Let me see where I have Southern Cal ranked. I got USC 13th. Beat LSU. LSU might not win 7-8 games. Florida's got the toughest schedule on the planet. By the way, that's a rivalry game. You have to understand the circumstances of going there and playing. It's like playing Alabama-Auburn. See, this is where Xander knows better than to ask a stupid question like that. Does it matter what the records are, Xander, in the Iron Bowl when Auburn and Alabama play? Xander, does it matter? When Alabama and Auburn play for the Iron Bowl, do records matter in that thing? I mean, it's the same in that Gator and Kane scenario. Those records don't matter. Those are all kids that grew up with one another, know each other, recruited the same way that they were recruited, and it comes down to rivalry. Alabama-Auburn is one of the greatest rivalries in all of college football. Nobody cares what the records are. They don't care in that rivalry. You play that game, and both teams are 0-0 when you play that game. Now, granted, I'll say this to you. Florida does not look very good. Okay? Penn State, West Virginia, that's a good rivalry. That's a damn good rivalry. I don't think they play that bad puppy every year, though. Not that we do. We don't play the Gators. Isn't it funny? The last time the Gators were beat at home, we beat them. From a Louisville Cardinal fan to a Miami Hurricane alum, can you tell Mario to bring back the logo jump on? And we think Florida State, and we think Florida State for being trash. I think you mean thank Florida State for being trash. Hey, disciple, I can't believe that Florida State's already 0-2. It's pretty crazy that they're 0-2 already. It was a great college football week. By the way, all those games had 7-8 million people watching it. There's 7-8 million people watching it. Seals, no Tebow jersey? Hey, I voted a Heisman Trophy to that guy. Believe me, it took everything in my power to have to vote for him, but I did. Okay? I told everyone, once I vote on all those awards, the one thing that I'll never do is hose a kid because of my bias. Okay? Tebow, Johnny Manziel. I know Xander will hate this. I voted Cam Newton to the Heisman Trophy. Even though there were question marks about his dad getting $250,000, I still voted him the Heisman. I gave him my Heisman vote. So, best player gets it. I don't care. How good was Andre Johnson at Miami? Andre Johnson was in a long line of guys that was on one of the most talented football teams in history. Think about this. Andre Johnson, hey, Abe, you know who the other receiver was on the other side of Andre Johnson? Reggie Wayne. Santana Moss. Those were the wide receivers that were on the other side of Andre Johnson. I mean, the team was loaded. The backfield had McGahee, Frank Gore, Clinton Portis. There's just Bryant McKinney in the O-line. You had Ray Lewis. Sean Taylor sat the bench. Sean Taylor was on the bench for that team. That's how good they were. Let me talk a little bit here about McGahee was on that team. Yeah, hey, I love Santana Moss too. I played with his brother, Winston Moss. He played on my Canes teams. Love Winston Moss. Dude, Sean Taylor and Jerome Brown, if those two dudes don't die, the Hurricanes have two more guys in the Hall of Fame. I think Sean Taylor was better than Ed Reed. And I think Ed Reed's the greatest Cane of all time. I mean, Sean Taylor was a special football player and a special kid. Just a special. Najee Davenport. That's right, Taylor. Good call on that one. Sean Taylor was, I mean, would you not agree, James, being a Commander fan? The only defensive back that you would say in the history of the Washington Redskins Commanders, wouldn't you say the only guy that was probably better than him? Maybe was Darryl Green. And I'm not sure Darryl Green was better. But the only reason I'll give it to Darryl Green was because Darryl Green played so long. He played 20 years, and he was such a great football player. Okay? I mean, but Sean Taylor was special talent. He was just a special player, man. He had a little Brian Dawkins in him too. He was just a football player, though, man. This tremendous player. And Jerome was better than Sapp. Okay? And I've said it before. Jerome Brown's better than Warren Sapp. And he's a better human than Sapp. Not to go, I promised everybody that I wouldn't go into that, but Jerome was a special human being, too. Those two guys would have been in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And I don't think it would have. I think they would have been first ballot. He would hit the hey James, how about in the Pro Bowl? He knocked that punter out. He took that punter and knocked him out in a Pro Bowl. You gotta watch. If you guys have ever seen that video, hey, yeah, that's it. Yeah, hey, James knows. Dude, he knocked the punter out in the Pro Bowl. I mean, he teacupped his ass. He teacupped him. It's a Pro Bowl where you're kind of supposed to be kind of decent and not take people out and kill them. He killed the guy. He did, Abe. All right. Hey, Jalen, he loves the fact that when he talked at his presser, he loved Dotson. I think he's really ready for the start of the season on Friday. I love how he talks, and I love how the players are talking. He said Barkley, he realized that he's a freak athlete. By the way, you hear what Jalen said about going to Brazil? It's a great opportunity. It's a great opportunity to play on an international stage. And it's a great chance for all of us to go and put our team in a position where the world gets a chance to see us. Now, you compare that to Slay. I posted that. By the way, if you want to see what Slay said, I posted that on my Twitter at Dan Sileo Show. It's kind of obnoxious. This guy's worried about the food. He's staying at a luxury hotel in Brazil. They're going to cater the food into him. You're flying a charter. Okay, so when you fly from Philly to Seattle, let's just say that's going to be 6.5 hours. You're talking about probably an additional 2.5 hours of plane flight. It's like when you go on your trip with the family to Hawaii. Okay? Suck it up. You're going to go play football, dude. You're not being deployed to the Middle East to go fight and go into a battle, and you're not going to be going into a foxhole. You're fucking going to play a game. Act like it. This guy's moaning about the food. I'm drinking the water. I'm eating all the food in the hotel. And you're like, what's that got to do with the Packers? Zero. This guy's beat before he gets on the plane. The first thing I thought of was that he's beat before he gets on the plane. He don't even want to. There's some players on that Eagle team that won't want to go. If you're Green Bay, I think you buy into that. Dude, these guys are complaining about going. It does suck the Eagle fans get hosed on that home game. No question. Okay? Taylor says Sean Taylor was the size of Derrick Henry. Dude, he was like 6'3.5", almost 6'4". He's a big-ass dude, man. I love the kid. I had a great relationship with Sean Taylor. I helped recruit him. Really love the guy. And I've told you the story that his last dying moments, one of the EMS guys, the former Hurricane, George Meyer Jr., and he called me as he was dying. And he told me, Sean Taylor just died. And I was like, what? He goes, yeah, he bled to death. And I'm like, he got shot, obviously. Terrible. Terrible scene. He says the Packers have a really great D-line. He says it's going to be a challenge for us. He was asked about if he got better on the blitzes. You know what he said? This is so Jaylen Hurts. We'll see. You know, that's practice. We get a game situation. I think even Jalen wanted to get some reps. When I heard him say that, I was like, wow. I think Jalen wanted to see in-game reps just to see how it looked. Because they don't really know how it looks. You're going off of practice. Like Xander said, that's not football. He was asked about new roles. He says, hey, I've always tried to keep myself into a position where I'm coachable. You know, I mean, I always want to be coachable. You know, picking up blitzes and all that, all kinds of forms of everything. All I'm looking for is whatever they want me to do, I'm going to try to be the best I possibly can. He says that his job is as a quarterback to continually evolve. I think that's a shot at Nick because they didn't evolve last year. He really doesn't want to say what his new role is. He says that's between all of us. Thought that was interesting and really leadership. He said Kellen Moore. He said, you know what? He's got a really good vision for what he wants and what he wants to see. I think the kid's ready, man. I can't wait. I really can't. Guys, you were great. I can't thank you enough. By the way, our friends at BetUS powered the 4 hours of the program. We so appreciate that. Guys, you were great. We are looking forward to this game on Friday. You guys were fantastic. Please hit the like button. Joe, Xander, thank you very much. Can't thank you enough. 2 to 6. We're here on game week. We got Thursday night football, then we got Friday night football. This thing's coming around the corner, and rent is due, as they like to say. 2 to 6 tomorrow, Eastern. We'll see you on the